7 a.m. to 10 a.m.
With me, Pakwesi Omare,
Regina Bliss,
Deborah Adoso,
and I am Esinal Fiagbedu. This is GhanaTalks Breakfast Show.
GhanaTalks Radio, #1.
This is GhanaTalks Breakfast Show, your morning companion. This is GhanaTalks Breakfast Show, your morning companion.
GhanaTalks Radio, #1.
This is GhanaTalks Breakfast Show, your morning companion. This is GhanaTalks Breakfast Show, your morning companion. Good morning to you. It's a beautiful Thursday morning, and you are welcome to the GhanaTalks Breakfast Show right here on GhanaTalks Radio. This is the news review. Right here, we bring you all the relevant stories making waves in the news. From business to politics, from sports to entertainment, we got you covered with the most relevant stories and informed perspectives on issues that matter to you every morning right here on the show. I respond to the name Ruth Esenam Fiagbedu, and I'm serving you breakfast this morning with Miss Regina Bliss and Miss Debbie Adoso. Good morning to you, ladies, and you are welcome to the news review on GhanaTalks Radio.
Good morning.
How you doing, Miss Debbie?
The grace is sufficient.
We thank God. Hope you slept well.
I did.
Right. Good to hear. Miss Regina?
yeah,
How are you?
I'm fine.
I'm good. Oh, it's a coincidence. What happened?
I don't even know.
I know, right? Did you text each other that this is what you are wearing?
Monitoring spirit.
You when then rock to is what?
I
It's
know
all
it.
black,
I didn't see it.
I see. That's nice. Tomorrow is a holiday.
Don't talk about it.
Oh,
Let's
why?
do
How they bear?
It
fit
Friday and Monday. Let's do a show, okay?
Oh, why?
Oh.
The fasting is over, and I think for we doing the Christianity part, which is the Lent, I think we have 10 days more, 7 days more.
Some people can be 40 days.
Yeah, 40 days. Yeah,
40
I mean
days.
the Lent is 40 days,
fasting, 40
and
days.
the
For
Muslims.
Easter.
40 days and 40
For
nights.
Easter tomorrow for
Yeah, for
they do.
Lent.
They do.
because I know
Lent.
The old churches.
Roman Catholic.
Now, by now, me so me
Oh,
will praise
okay.
Bianca. Me you
Anka,
fasting.
you fasting.
Oh, thank God.
Oh, so are you saying fasting is
Oh,
not good?
fasting.
Oh, it's
Fasting
good.
is good. You know, I saw a prophecy of Prophet Emmanuel J telling one young lady that God said the fasting she's doing, she should stop.
Maybe
Because
she's
she will get ulcer.
Oh yeah. There are instances like
Yes.
that.
So sometimes
You need to be careful.
Yeah.
You build your spiritual aspect, but be careful.
Yeah.
But
Too much
those
of
things-
everything is bad.
But those things, do they really add up to the prayer? As in, if you do it 6 to 6, God listens to your prayer quickly. Or if you do it maybe 6 to 9, and you go with a genuine heart and you do it so well, I think God will also listen.
Oh yeah.
It
it's
all
about-
depends on your heart.
Yeah,
it all
and
depends
what
on
you
your
are
heart.
doing.
Yeah.
Because the
on-
fasting entails a lot.
Oh
Remember-
yes. There are a lot of things you need to
The 21
avoid.
days fasting. I think the first week we will end at 12. The second week was I think 3. The last week was 6 to 6. Me say share. I did 12. 6 to 12 throughout.
You get it.
I was like, God, you understand?
Oh,
I
yes.
can't.
You understand.
I can't.
Yeah, you understand.
Also, yeah, there are 100 babies.
Yeah, but I
Yeah.
think sometimes as a Christian, when you get to certain level, you should be doing 6 to 6.
Yeah, yeah.
Sometimes when the issue is severe,
Yeah,
severe.
6 to 6. They
and
are
you'll be on
boy.
the back say yes, 66.
Because I
get
feel like
angry.
when the physical body is weak, it's strengthening the spiritual aspect. Like you become so sensitive to the things of, the spirit and physical. Yeah, so it's necessary.
Obi on your fasting that.
Yeah.
And so he or she is all right.
Yeah.
Sometimes I wonder how
They
God
are
works.
It's not they are not
Alright,
physically,
but
oh
spiritually
yeah, they are
They
not.
are not. So
Imagine human being, you sleep and you won't dream. Are you a human?
Hey, If I,
You
does
don't
it-
even remember.
You, like,
does
you
it-
can't
does
even
it-
remember
yeah,
what you dreamt
yeah,
of.
that,
It's
that
bad.
one is also a red flag. But
Very,
if you
very
sleep
bad.
and you don't dream, they say you're not closer to God. I don't know how true that is.
It's not. It's because like you are weak in a spiritual realm. It's not as if you are. So when you start praying and all that, you see that things you used to do before automatically
You begin to
you
just
begin to
let
do
them
it
go. You
again.
just don't want to even do it again. Yeah, so tomorrow, God willing, is a holiday. Our Muslim brothers and sisters will be ending their fast, God willing, tomorrow. So tomorrow, most workers will be in the house, but as usual, as you know it, we will be here to serve you news. Right, let's dive into the main issue this morning. Government to convene second National Economic Dialogue. President John Dramani Mahama has announced plans to hold a second National Economic Dialogue later this year to review Ghana's economic progress and outline the next step for recovery. The president made this known during a meeting with organized labor, stressing that workers will play a key role in the upcoming discussions. According to him, the dialogue will assess how effective the decisions from the previous forum have been and identify areas that still need improvement. He explained that the first dialogue focused on identifying Ghana's economic challenges and proposing solutions, while the second will focus on measuring progress and refining strategies. The government sees the engagement as part of efforts to maintain broad consultations and build national consensus on key economic policies and reform. Now, this is what caught my attention. He said, according to him, the dialogue will assess how effective the decisions from the previous forum have been and identify areas that still needs improvement. Now, let's have a recap to the first National Economic Dialogue, where they raised some concerns that has to do with challenges of the economy. And then also, I think they also mentioned something about increasing workers' salary. Also, looking at all these issues that were actually identified previously during the National Economic Dialogue, do you see them to be they've actually addressed them? Ms. Gina?
Your question.
Looking at the previous issues or the previous challenges that they identify, have they been sorted out? Have they been solved, as the president mentioned?
Okay, so I think you talked about increment of salary for the public workers, and I think is it 10%? Debbie, I don't know. 12%. But the 12% was okay, but still people were still complaining that it's little. And also the minority, they also said some. During their time, they didn't even put much effort in it. They also talked about it. So I would say when it comes to the increment of salary, they tried their best. But looking at the forum as a whole, there's nothing wrong with holding a forum. But now the issue is this going to be just another forum? Is it just going to be another talk? Because mind you, long talk doesn't really equal to effective implementation. And it's a good thing that they want to look back on, I don't want to say promises, but look back on certain things they said and how far they've come. And also, when we talk of effective implementation, I wouldn't want to say both NPP and NDC, they lack it, because both of them, they just come with sweet policies, and at the end of the day, how effective it is, no, that is the main issue. And I also believe that he would touch on Galamsey issue and also the economic issue. Now, the inclusion of organized labor in this talk is very important. In fact, all Ghanaians should be there, because it's not only one specific or a specific institution that is
Needed.
that is needed, or that has to come out and talk the mind of Ghanaians. Sometimes, for example, we see certain surveys that, Ghanaians are saying this, and I say to myself, I'm also a Ghanaian, but I never said this. So does it mean say they go out, just take the majority of Ghanaians and automatically say, oh, that is what everyone is feeling? So I feel like they should include everyone, not visibly, maybe through social media. It would help. But aside that, I think it's a good thing. This is the first of its kind that a forum have been already held to implement something, and another forum will be held later in the year to reassess it.
Yeah. Right. Ms. Debbie, what would you say the progress has been so far?
Well, I think, you see, reconvening second national economic dialogue, I would say, is very, very important, because even as normal humans, when you engage yourself in a particular project for maybe a year, within a year you're expecting to achieve something. You have the goals you've outlined. So at the end of that year, you sit back, you assess yourself. Okay, from the beginning of the year, this is what I promised myself to get from this project. Or maybe personally, your life. What and what was I able to achieve? How can I improve on it? How then do I position myself that in the coming years I'll be able to achieve it? Is it that I wasn't disciplined enough? Is it that I set the rules and then I break it myself? What is it? You identify all those points, and then it helps you improve on yourself. So that is same thing when I'm relaying it to what is happening right now. The economic dialogue is very, very necessary. Especially, I like the fact that they'll meet with Labour Commission, and then the Labour Commission will also, after this dialogue, they will meet with their subsidiaries, should I say groups or entities, entities that they will communicate to, because we've had instances where, especially CLOSAC, where they were complaining that they are not being paid, conditions of service and all that, they want increment and all this and blah 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 and all that. So they've lay out their grievances, but the government cannot just stand up and then come to them directly. They have to pass through channels, and that is what is being done right now. So they'll sit down, deliberate on the matter. Okay, from the first meeting, this is what we discussed. How far did it go? Doesn't mean that the solutions we brought on board wasn't accurate enough or wasn't good enough. What then can we do? Because you see, issues like this needs to be solved once and for all. If after this dialogue we still have instances where, I mean, the entities below this commissions are still complaining about the same issue, then what's the essence of the dialogue? So I feel like there should be something that will bring up a permanent solution that are going to solve or meet the needs of the entities below this commission. You get it? Because if things like this happen, you call on Labour Commission, because you know that Labour Commission, for me, I see them as an intermediary between the government and those smaller entities. So even if they are pouring out their grievances, you hear them say that we met with officials of Labour Commission. They said that they even gave us a deadline, but at the end of the day, we didn't see what the benefit from that, or we didn't get a positive result out of that. So I feel like this is good. It's always good to reassess your project, yourself, and everything. So I feel like reconvening this whole thing is very good. But our problem is, after they are done with this, I mean, they are going to come up with a positive solution, a permanent one, of course, so that to meet the needs of these people, and then we wouldn't have to be talking about this issue again.
Right. How does this dialogue actually intend to affect the everyday life of a Ghanaian?
Positively or negatively?
It could be positively.
Oh, it will affect too, because see, I'm not sure the government or the president. Let me start from the president. The president will stand up and be like, I want to increase. So I'm taking it from this angle. I want to increase salaries of public workers 12%. No, the president will appoint people, will sit with the finance minister. He will sit with leaders of the Labour Commission, and even get representatives from this CLOSAC, from all these people, sit down, and then they will deliberate on it before they bring it out. So whatever decision Labour Commission and the government pin down, if it is positive, it's going to affect the public sector workers. Don't forget that they are also citizens, they are Ghanaians. If it's come out that is positively to affect us, but if it is negative, it will affect us negatively. So in the previous year, we saw that they said they increased public sector workers their salary by 12%. When we calculated that 12%, it was like, let me say, 50 cedis, so say 50 CDs addition. How will I even put it? It's like 50 CDs and they account music and
Yeah.
50 CDs and on the account like 12%. It looks so big, but like in your ears, it looks like a BBS, but when you calculate it in terms of money and all that, you see that it's something very small that will be added to it. So when they go and then they communicate and they don't fix their shoes, their legs in the shoes of the ordinary Ghanaian, they might come up with something that they feel like it will help us. But at the end of the day, we the one at the bottom will realize that no, what you are bringing on board is not going to help us, because 12%. Now you calculate and say maybe for instance it's an additional 50% that have been 50 CDs that have been added to your salary. 50 CDs not there then because day in day out cost of living is increased, and then 50% is nothing to write home about. So whatever decision they take, if it is positive, it will affect us positively. If it is negative, it will still affect us negatively.
Yeah. So it all depends on the big people up there to make sure that they make the right decision. Right, moving on. Scrap 1 cedi levy on fuel now. Minority tells government. The minority in parliament is calling on the government to immediately scrap the 1 cedi levy on fuel, arguing that it is worsening the financial burden on Ghanaians. Deputy ranking member on the Energy Committee, Collins Mensah, said rising global oil prices driven by tensions involving Israel, United States and Iran are already pushing fuel prices higher in Ghana. He described the levy as punishment and urged government to remove it urgently and review all taxes on petroleum products. As of March 2026, fuel prices remain high, with diesel around 60 pesos per litre and petrol above 12 cedis 40 pesos per litre. The minority argues that the levy, introduced under the Energy Sector Levies Amendment Act 2025, is no longer justified because government has already cleared major energy sector debt, including about $1.47 billion in 2025. They are also calling for other fuel-related levies to be reduced or restructured to cushion consumers. So I think reading from this article, they have finally admitted that indeed there were huge debts in the energy sector, because here it reads that they argue that the energy levy under the Energy Sector Levies Amendment Act 2025 is no longer justified because government has already cleared major energy sector debts, including about $1.47 billion in 2025. Looking at what we are going through when it comes to the energy sector, which is the diesel and the petroleum, do you think that the government should scrap the D-levy? Ms. Debbie?
For me, scrapping it wouldn't be the best option, because as it stands now, we don't know how stabilized the energy sector is going to be. We don't know how long the sustainability we have now in the energy sector is going to last. Okay, because yes, I like the fact that the minority have accepted that they left a debt which needs to be paid. And then let me say 50% of those debts has been paid. But that doesn't mean that the levy should be scrapped. I'm saying this because let's look at what is happening in the Middle East. None of us slept and then thought that such thing will happen. So looking at this, if we scrap this 1% levy on fuel, and then maybe in subsequent days we come across things like this, how then are we going to solve this whole issue? How are we going to carry the buffer is not coming?
Is a burden.
Not burden. I'm looking for a word, but the word is not coming. So in simple terms, how well are we going to solve it when issues on certain issues arises? So with the 1% fuel levy, I feel like it shouldn't be scrapped for now, because as I said, the stability of the energy sector as it stands now, we don't know how long it's going to take us. And where we've been importing our fuel, there is crisis ongoing there. Even at that place, fuel has been increased. So how sure are we that when we scrap this because we feel like 50% debt has been scrapped, then what if there is another debt, how are we going to pay it? Because it will be a whole brouhaha if they are bringing another levy on board for us to pay. So I feel like the minority is just, they just want to score a political point out of this. It's because they brought e-levy and then they feel like the NDC scrapped the e-levy, and that is why they are also calling out for the 1% levy on fuel to be scrapped. But you've forgotten that the e-levy you brought, we didn't even see anything. We don't even know what they use that money for. They never accounted to us. But since they started with this 1% levy on fuel, they've always been a briefing. The energy minister always brief us on what it has been used for. Even currently, when the finance minister announced that I think 50% of the debt has been paid, it was announced. But with the NPP, we never saw something like that. So I feel like for this short period, the levy shouldn't be scrapped until we get to a place where we realize that where we've gotten to, without with or without the 1D levy, we can still sustain the energy sector can be reliable, or it can be stabilized and sustained. Yes. It can be sustained without the 1D levy. But as it stands now, no. It's a 50-50 something. Right. The scrap is here. We don't know what will happen next. Right. So I feel like we should maintain it for a period of time. Then we can take decision from there.
But do you see it as a burden to us?
I don't see it as such.
You don't see it
as
such?
So I don't see it as such.
They say we are burden, as if they've gone to ask Ghanaians.
That is what I don't understand. Because we Ghanaians are not complaining. But it's like the minority is now complaining on behalf of Ghanaians. Sometimes I laugh when I hear them say that Ghanaians are suffering, Ghanaians are complaining. Like, which Ghanaian? Is it the NPP that is suffering? Or the entire, population of Ghana? The citizens within the country are the ones complaining to them. I don't know who the kind of people they speak with, and I don't know the kind of people they take notes and infos from. But then what I can say is that we are not suffering, and the 1D levy, we are not really feeling its impact like that. So we should sustain it till we get to a point where we realize that with or without it, we can still manage.
Miss Regina.
Okay. So I would say that when it comes to the minority, they have the interests of the people at heart. Let me put it that way. So they are thinking of Ghanaians, and they feel like Ghanaians are suffering because of this 1 cedi levy. I remember when this levy came up, we went out to discuss with the people, and majority of the people talking to them, you could see, say, oh, they are ready to pay it, and also they are ready to help the government. So as it stands now, as Ms. Debbie said, I believe that if Ghanaians are burdened with this 1 cedi levy, they will definitely start talking about it. The same way we complained from the start of the implementation of the e-levy, the betting tax, to the scrapping of it. Day in and day out, we complained each and every time. So I believe that if Ghanaians are burdened and they don't want to no longer pay, they would voice out.
Because if the D levy is being scrapped, that means that debt will be less for the government to also sort out. And which money do they intend to use to sort out the energy debt? And because this is how we can also, the government said this is how, as a country, we can help each other to pay the debt. So if the 1 cedi is being taken off, does that mean that we finish paying our debt? And I think that is one question we should be asking the minority, because they are saying that if we paid $1.47 billion debt, is that all, or there's more? That is one thing we should also be looking at as a country. Yeah.
And whether it's intentional that they intentionally cause that debt so that we'll pay.
Yeah. Because I guess we are all seeing the impact of the D levy.
Yeah,
it's not like we are not seeing it. Our lights have been stable
for a while now.
And they've been very transparent with us as to what they are using that money for. The debt is actually paying. Unlike the previous administration where we saw the e-levy, and they never even accounted to us what that money was actually doing. Yeah, so I think I don't think I'm in agreement with the minority. Right. Government to develop national emolument policy to tackle salary disparities. President John Dramani Mahama has announced plans to introduce a national emolument policy to address salary disparity in the public sector. The policy will be developed by an independent emolument commission and aims to ensure fairness in salaries, harmonize allowances, and promote performance-based pay. The announcement was made during a meeting with organized labor at the Jubilee House, following recent industrial action by the Civil and Local Government Staff Association, Ghana. According to the president, the goal is to build a system where pay is aligned with productivity, fairness, and national development priorities. The move is part of broader effort to reform public sector pay and improve labor relations in Ghana. So this is going to be like a committee which will be set aside to monitor how you are working. And then I don't know if I stand to be corrected. I don't know if that is it. To address salary disparity, because you see that some people work so hard and at the end of the day they get paid just peanuts. They work outside their working hours and they don't get any allowances, but people come to the office, they can't even save documents in PDF and they are still being paid huge amounts of money. So President Mahama said we need to be fair to these people. We need to harmonize allowances as well. So due to that, we are setting a committee which is going to look into productivity. So you will be paid according to your productivity. What you bring on board is how you are going to be paid. So if you work tirelessly, you make sure that you complete all your assignments, your targets, everything, definitely your salary will go up. But if you just come into the office, come and sit down, and all you do is TikTok and social media, you don't meet to the demands of the company, you don't even just like be beyond home. Mind you that you are not being productive to that sector, so your salary will be reduced. So this is the essence of creating this emolument commission. Ms. Debbie, do you think it's a good call?
Yeah, to put employees on their toes to work, okay, because at the end of the day you will have to account for what you do. Even if you don't account, we have people that are going about should I say supervising and then ensuring that you are doing the right thing. I remember during the previous year, was it one assembly it was somewhere around this area or so, where the man said very soon they will be sacking people. It was a government municipality office. He said they'll be sacking people from the office because they are not performing. Some of them just come. It's like the level of work they have, the hands they have are more than the labor they are supposed to work on or the work they are supposed to do. So sometimes a lot of them comes to the office. It's like a juma be anywhere because and then they also just come and then being spectators and then they go back. They are more, so they are going to lay a lot of them off and then they'll maintain the few ones that are serious with their job. And I was like, wow, this is so good. You see, government, this is mostly common in government sectors because they take things so lightly. They feel like no one will come and monitor them. Even the supervisor coming on board will be tipped, and so they don't really care. But when you come to the private sector, oh boy, whatever you do here is being monitored. The most serious aspect is that when you go to these government sectors, it's not as if they don't have CCTV. They have, but and come and be out. The person in charge of watching the movement and whether employees are doing what they are supposed to do, serious. Yes, so it doesn't get anywhere. But when you come to private sector, they take it from private schools to private institutions. They are so serious with their work. They don't take it so lightly, okay? And so they put that kind of pressure and tension on the employees. And you also need to deliver. That is how it is. But you go to the government sectors, it's different thing altogether. So I feel like this is very, very good. This one, Kasi and Sake, all you do is what you be.
It's over. Now you can just say your way. Now you're not being productive.
So as simple as ABC, they are going to reduce your
reduce your salary.
Hey, President Mahama, reset number.
But how sure are we that this one won't be also influenced by people?
Well, and then
because like everywhere you go, influence. People just get influence paid off.
This thing they are bringing on board is so good because sometimes
it's good though.
You go to institutions where you want to get something done, not Nipano or yet TikTok video. They are dancing, they don't even care. They don't even give you the form. Sometimes they don't even mind. I went to one office, be me body. I don't have evidence money here. And then the lady, I was supposed to take a form for my NSS. Hey, it's now what papa. And I'm mekwaba and I wait, but I don't see what they are doing though. Maybe they are doing something, I don't see it. But I feel like it's very, very bad. Even if you are doing something, there should be a communication. Maybe we have a challenge here, we are doing this or we are doing that. Please, can you stay on hold?
Communication.
It's bad, but go to private sectors and see. Even private hospitals and other institutions, when they're doing something that's so much engaged, they'll come to you, they'll communicate to you. Oh, please, we are being entangled by some 2 or 3 things. We'll get back to you shortly. And the smile alone, it comforts you and calms you down. When you go to government sector, be and fun because he knows that at the end of the month, the 4,000 one account move, 3,000 one account move, so they don't care.
But I think for the private sector, you write a report every month.
Not only that, I did my touch somewhere where before you come to work there is a full notebook. You write the time you came, the time you are leaving the office, and I think you attach something to. Yes, every day, every morning, the time you came, you write it. The time you are leaving, you also write it. BBNIA, you have to. It's not easy, but then I feel like all these things, that is the main thing that makes private institutions so unique and different from government institutions. So I feel like if the government adopts this kind of strategy from the private sector to the public sector, it will really, really help. Very, very.
Very, very. Because the government,
they don't.
They don't care. They know that the person who is even supposed to watch is not even available.
Yeah.
It's not even available. But in the private sector, you go 5 o'clock, the CEO is even already seated because it is his own money.
Yeah.
He actually used to build that company. So whatever sacrifice he will do to
also
make
need
sure
to
that
do
the company succeed, he will pull you along. But in the government sector,
it's not like that.
It's not like that.
It's not like that.
That's the perception we have there. And I'm also here
that is what they said. And it's so they don't.
That is very true. Lack of proper supervision. Right, Miss Regina.
Yeah. So when it comes to it's kind of simple. Oh, I've forgotten the word.
Today what's happening? We didn't take breakfast.
Productivity. When it comes to the government sector, one thing they are not really concerned about is productivity. And as Debbie said, at the end of the day or at the end of the month, they know that their salary would be paid into their into their account. So they'll just be there doing whatever they want without even, because sometimes if I come to work and I'm at the end of the day, I know today I didn't do anything, I feel bad. I'll be like, I know the by one by your share, you are not productive, you are not effective. But when it comes to the government sector, some of the workers don't really care because they know at the end of the day they'll be paid their salary, and also no proper or effective supervision is going on. So with this, I think it's a very good thing. And also with the salary disparities, I would say it's an issue that it's already there. And I don't know, because as we are all saying, influence, the people you are bringing on board to supervise these people, how sure are you that they would be fair? How sure are you that they themselves will be transparent or accountable? Because mind you, people's loyalty can be bought anytime. And about government sector now, they take money. They take a lot of money. So I can say, let me go and bribe this person. How would you know? So I feel like they should find a way around it. But aside that, they need to check it. because some people would come to the office, you know that this person is literally doing nothing, but that person is receiving more than you. In a way, it would break the spirit of the person. Say if the person is even supposed to work effectively, they'll be like, after all, I'm even doing more than this person, and I'm not even being paid what this person is receiving. So at the end of the day, nipa no be juma said the opebia. But when it comes to the private sector, because of supervision and also reporting, you would have to make sure that you work effectively and productively.
Right. Thank you so much, Ms. Regina. You work effectively and productively. Right. Thank you so much for joining us on the news headline. We'll be up next. We have Today in History with Ms. Regina Bless.
Bringing you Today in History on this day 2003, Iraq war begins when the US launched shock and air airstrikes on Baghdad to oust Saddam Hussein, following a televised address by President George W. Bush. Coalition forces, mainly from the US and UK, initiated air attacks on military targets. Ground forces invaded from Kuwait the next day, March 20th. Nevada legalized gambling. 1931 as a measure to boost the economy during the Great Depression. Governor Fred Bowser signed Assembly Bill 98, which authorized games, licenses and regulations for casinos. This move turned Nevada into a national gambling hub, later introducing legal sports betting in 1949. 1916, first U.S. air combat mission begins when 8 Curtiss JN-3 Jenny of the 1st Aero Squadron took off from Columbus, New Mexico, commanded by General John Picheng. They supported 7,000 U.S. troops chasing revolutionary Pancho Villa in Mexico, primarily conducting reconnaissance and messaging under difficult terrain and weather conditions. To some global observances, Certified Nurses Day, to honor nurses who have earned and maintained board certification in their nursing specialties, highlighting their commitment to professionalism, expert care, and patient safety. This day celebrates the birthday of Dr. Margarita Grita, a pioneer in nursing credentialing. Moving on, Companies That Care Day recognizes businesses that prioritize employee well-being, community service and environmental stewardship, offering robust benefits, supports mental health and maintaining a positive, fair, inclusive culture. Next is Let's Laugh Day, to promoting the physical and mental health benefits of laughter. It encourages people to reduce stress, improve their mood, and spread joy by sharing jokes, watching comedies, or laughing with friends. Lastly, National Stretch Mark Day. It is a body positivity day dedicated to embracing and celebrating skin, specifically the tiger stripes or stretch marks that arise from pregnancy, growth spurts, or weight changes. It promotes self-esteem and normalizing these natural, often hidden marks. When it comes to stretch marks, any natural. Sometimes some people gain it from bleaching, so stop bleaching. And that's all for today on Today in History and some global observances. Live on Ghana Talks Breakfast Show.
Stop bleaching. Also stop bleaching. So please
Coca-Cola
stop
body.
bleaching. What is important
Boliga
to me is the
confirm.
Company Care Day. Yes, we are urging all companies, please, at least try and then involve yourself into the life of your employees. Today is Company Care Day. Care about them. Ask them, how are you? How is work? How is home? Have you taken breakfast? Those questions. Are you fine? Motivate them, encourage them, because Shale is not easy.
Motivational speaker by force.
It's not easy. So please, today is Company Care Day. Show care. Okay. Up next, you have Debbie's Girl.
Welcome to Debbie's Grill, where we talk about issues that matter to the state, void of politics, fear of favor. President John Dramani Mahama has urged tenants to report landlords who demand rent advances beyond what is permitted by law, calling for stricter enforcement to curb exploitation in the housing sector. Speaking during a dialogue with organized labor at the Jubilee House, the president said rising housing costs are placing a heavy burden on households, making access to affordable accommodation increasingly difficult. Housing is a major problem, and for households, it's consuming their income. We need to have a national housing dialogue to decide how the private sector, government, and labor can come together to develop a social housing policy that ensures affordable housing for workers, whether through rental options, he stated. President Mahama attributed the increasing demand for excessive rent advances to the country's housing deficit, noting that some landlords exploit the situation to impose unlawful charges on tenants. The reason is that private house owners are taking advantage because of the housing deficit. We have the rent court, and the law says no more than 6 months rent advance, but both tenants and landlords are often unwilling to go to the rent court. He encouraged tenants to take decisive action by reporting such practices to the appropriate authorities, assuring that offenders will be sanctioned. The president's comment comes amid growing public concern over the widespread practice of landlords demanding up to 2 years' rent in advance, a situation widely criticized as unlawful and exploitative. Now let's look at this. The Rent Act 1969 Act 220 stipulates that landlords cannot demand more than 6 months rent in advance for tenancies less than 3 years. However, some landlords flout these rules, exploiting tenants and desperation. What is the president doing? President Mohammed's appeal aimed to empower tenants to speak out, but there are also concerns about tenants' vulnerability and fear of eviction, limited awareness about rent laws, inadequate enforcement and mechanism. To make this work, the Rent Control Department will need to increase public awareness about rent laws, provide accessible reporting channels, and strengthen enforcement and protect whistleblowers. The president, John Dramani Mahama, is now giving a veto power to tenants that if you are living in a house, or you are going to rent a room, and then the landlord or the landlady is telling you that he or she doesn't rent for 6 months as is being stated by law, that they are supposed to take up to 6 months. But when you come to Ghana, they take more than that. Some of these landlords or landladies take 3 years in advance. Some even take 2 years in advance. And what they are taking per month is not something small. A landlord or a landlady is demanding 700 a month, sometimes 1,000 cedis for chamber or self-contained. And then that 1,000 cedis, she's not taking 6 months. She's taking 3 years in advance. She's taking 2 years in advance. And you need to pay it. The most painful aspect is when you get to the house and then you realize that there are some challenges. the lighting system is poor, the washroom is bad, you will need to, put your money into it to do it. And sometimes most of these landlords or landladies, they are good enough that they'll tell you that, well, use your money to repair this and that, and then we'll deduct it for your pay. So maybe it may be in advance for 2 years, you're supposed to pay like 2,000 or maybe 4,000, and the expenses and everything you use in repairing that damage caused in your room is going to be like 1,000 or 2,000 plus. They will deduct it from that money, and then you have to pay the remaining to the landlords. And sometimes some of these landlords and landladies, they don't even care. You will pay and you still repair it. It's none of their business. They will not even tell you the situation on the ground. What they are interested in is for you to give them their money. And now the president is saying that is bad. And so he's urging every tenant. If you're in the house and then you've rented for maybe 2 years now, swan, and soon the landlord is telling you that he wants to increase the fare abysmally. They said, come and report. And they're going to take action. I don't know how effective this is going to work, but I hope that it works. Because this is one of the, shall I say, issue or challenge that a lot of Ghanaians are facing, and it's very, very serious. Very, very serious. The salary they takes in a month, everything goes into rent. Because I like the fact that the president states that it's because there are deficits in housing, and so the private sectors are taking advantage, and that is true. We can't even boast of a 10-house unit that is being built by the government. We can't even boast of it. I remember, was it during Kufuor time, there was this project that brought on board, and it was called low cost or something. It was a house that was being built by the government, and it's being rent out to public sector workers. And in a way, it was in a very cheap price, okay, a price where you can afford. But and they have a design of how they built it, so immediately you see it, you know that no, this particular house belongs to the government, or it belongs to the state. We don't have anything like that, and so these private sectors are taking advantage of it. So I feel like since the government cannot do it alone, the government should collaborate with the private sector, and then they bring ideas on board. If we will pump in money, maybe this is the amount of money we will pump in it. Let's build enough houses, and then rent out to Ghanaians at a very low and affordable price. That is going to help, because I can boldly tell you that rent issue is one of the issues that is really affecting us in the country. Seriously, you might have your own plan, but at the end of the year, even the savings you made will all still go into your rent. Because since your landlord or your landlady has told you that this is what I'm taking, after the end of the year, you're supposed to pay such an amount of money. And sometimes they will still come to you and tell you that they are increasing it. And they don't even give reason why they are increasing it. Most of these areas are flood-prone areas, which we do not even have an idea of. You will get there, and then when we get to the rainy season, you find yourself wanting. Now the problem is how confident the tenant can be in reporting this case is an issue, because rent control nankas and baby or more. Some time ago, I heard of an instance where I think rent control in Kaswa or one of these areas, the landlords or the landladies, they were sacking them. I was like, wait, a whole rent control commission, they are sacking them. Then how much more a tenant? So I feel like we have the laws, but they are not really working because we are not enforcing it. If we are enforcing the laws and then we are taking these landlords and landladies on, they will do the right thing. But we are not doing it. And so they've also taken advantage of it, and they are gaining money. Now, if you want to be rich in Ghana, make sure you build your own house and rent it to people. And in the space of 3 years, you are a billionaire. Seriously. Because after every 3 months, you increase price. Every 3 months, you are increasing. And because you also do not have any option, there is no option. Imagine government house, a lot of houses they build and they're renting out to the citizen. This private owners, they will mellow. These landlords and landladies, they will decrease their prices because they know that, they know that where it has gotten to, I mean, they have no option. But in a case where it looks as if the government is not helping enough, and that is where they boast. And then they do whatever they want to do. And they get away with it. And if there should be a case where there will be a whistleblower, they need to be protected. They need to be protected. The issue is, you see, it's good though. This is good, but how effective is it going to be? We've seen a lot of rules, we've seen a lot of laws, we've seen people showing concern about rent issues in Ghana, and still the issue is still the same. There will be no change. We are still in it just as the way it is. Accra hampo the ways. Now if you want to rent a house in Accra here, make sure you have like 600 edeko. Yes. Every single room with porch crowd of late 300 won't now. 250 you won't get. It's not appealing. If you want a good home, a good room to sleep, you should be holding like 600, 700, 1,000 cedis in Accra. And that is why a lot of people resort to renting kiosks and all that, because they see that to be less expensive. So if the government is bringing this on board, they should ensure that they work with the private sector. No government can do it alone, trust me. No government can do it alone. This is a very huge tax. And to execute it, you need other hands to help you. You can't do this alone. It entails a lot. The Saglame housing project, how far? Those houses have been left in the bushes to rot. It was near completion, but it was left to rot. At least, if the previous administration were able to complete it, in Kaiba Boakakra. But you know, sometimes it's funny because this housing project we are talking about, the government might build it, but it will even look more expensive. The affordability of it is also very, very necessary. If the government wants to build more houses, one thing that they can use to tame this arrogance of these landlords and these landladies has to be their prices has to be very, very affordable. It should be less expensive. Because when it's less expensive, no one is going to waste their time coming to you and all that. Sometimes they'll give you a form to fill. The most annoying thing is that of late when you're going to rent a house, they ask you, do you want to here? Landlord, no. He's asking you, what work do you do? They need certain class of workers to rent their homes. So when they ask you what you do and then they feel like, well, maybe the work you are doing does not fetch enough and all that, they cannot extort enough from you. I mean, they push you somewhere and they tell you the vacancy in New. So you need to go to a different place to find a place where you can lay your head. So this is very, very important to us, Mr. President. It's one of the things that is on our heart. It's one of our heart desires. That a time will come where we will not be struggling of renting in Ghana. A time will come where we wouldn't have banter or issues with landlords or landladies. Today, like abysmally, they increase increase rent and all that, water bill, light bill. The increase is too much. And they don't even give reasonable reasons why they are doing that. A landlord wants to evict his or her tenant and they don't even give you prior notice. Or why you be too. They don't even give you reasons why they are taking you out. And rent control state that before you evict someone from your house, give the person 1 month. You have to give the person 1 month. If after that 1 month, the person doesn't go, then you go to the rent control. But Ghana, we don't do it. The laws are there. The laws are not working. They're not being enforced. Into Biafra Niwedi. But if the laws are working, if the laws are being enforced, those landlords are being put in the right positions, they'll tell you that if you're me and amazing, you can't tell me what to do. But if the laws are working, it will really help us seriously. The youth in Ghana are really suffering. They are going through a lot. They are going through a lot. You have no idea. So as I said, this is our topmost priority. It is our heart desire, and we'll be so much glad and happy that it materialize, that we see it coming to pass. Thank you for making time with me on Davis Grill.
Thank you so much, Mr. B, for that grill. But the issue of rents is actually something that most Ghanaians have actually been facing. And we are so excited that the president has actually brought up this directive that landlords shouldn't take more than 2 years, should take up to just 6 months. But after this directive was made, reading the comment section, it was known that it's not the duration, but it's actually the time, the price. The prices are also equally very expensive. So they are pleading on the government or the president, or should also say that they should decrease the prices. But someone will sit somewhere and be like, the president didn't build for me, so you can't come and tell me how I should charge you. But with the duration, let's see if they'll comply by that. Anyways, thank you so much for joining us on the first segment of the GhanaTalks Breakfast Show. We'll be going for the news shortly, and right after that, we'll be back. Please stick with us.
Are you ready to amplify your business or brand's reach and make a meaningful impact in Ghana and beyond? Partner with GhanaTalks Radio today to connect with a diverse audience across Ghana and beyond. Elevate your brand through on-air promotions and social media. Boost your brand during prime time. With GhanaTalks Radio, you can extend your reach across digital platforms. GhanaTalks Radio is not just a station, it is a community hub where your brand becomes part of the conversation. Join us in fostering connections, celebrating culture, and making a lasting impression. For customized sponsorship packages and enquiries, email contact@GhanaTalksRadio.com or call +233 202 544614. GhanaTalks Radio, giving the youth a voice.
What do you want for breakfast? How do you want your breakfast?
English breakfast, French fries.
Koko nikosi, alo komi keshito.
Wache.
Well, Gobe is the real deal.
Join us on GhanaTalks Radio. Let's serve you a buffet of breakfast.
From news headlines review, current affairs to social issues.
Entertainment, sports, and all the trending stories live on our mobile app and across all socials from Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m.
With me, Pakwesi Omare.
Regina Bless.
Deborah Adoso.
And I am Esinal Fiagbedu. This is GhanaTalks Breakfast Show.
We bring you local news, business news, international, sports, and entertainment news. Right here on GTR.
Hello, good morning, and welcome to the morning news update on GhanaTalks Radio. In today's news highlights, Kande Member of Parliament demands transparency in 240 million Gold Board and Bank of Ghana dealings. Former Minister of Health boosts the New Patriotic Party, Greater Accra with pre-Eid donation. Ghana Journalists Association urges protection for journalists. Also coming up, Safe Water Network pushes for smarter water management. Minister of Energy Jinapor blasts Ghana's procurement mess, doubting its reforms. These and many more coming up your way shortly. Member of Parliament for Kande and Vice Chair of Parliament Budget Committee is calling for transparency in the alleged 240 million loss involving Gold Board and the Bank of Ghana. Ajare questions the unrealistic revenue target and lack of clarity surrounding the loss, emphasizing that Ghanaians deserve answers. The Member of Parliament highlights concern over ghost releases to ministries, departments and agencies where funds appears allocated on paper but are not reflected in actual account. He urged government to provide clear explanations.
Should be transparency, because we asked the IMF, and then since they are diplomats, they could not come out clearly, but it's out there that over $240 million, was an issue between Gold Board and then the Bank of Ghana. So the government should sit up, because people of Ghana are not ready to make losses over a program that's supposed to support our currency. Then in the end we are spending so much and then making losses as well. So there is a lack of transparency in the dealings of Gold Board and the Bank of Ghana, which we think the government should come out clearly, because it looks like it's a kind of a sensitive area. They don't want people to go at all, but people of Ghana demand to know. We can't just lose over 240 million, yet we will not get good answers to that. Government should be transparent. It is the people of Ghana, it is our money. This is a government that is not good at revenue mobilization, because in 2025 the expected incomes were not met, yet in the 2026 they estimated a higher amount, which doesn't make any physical sense, but we are still looking up to them. And then one thing that the budget committee is concerned about is releases. In 2025, government failed to make releases. Releases were not going in at all. And then we also noticed that to some of the MDAs, there were no releases, but when they were coming in for the budget estimate, there were numbers being posted into the account. It was only in the books, but when we found out from the agencies, they did not have the accounts in their various accounts. Then the ministry was like, oh, no, they should find out from the controller. It was the issue of controller. We are going to monitor and make sure that this government make releases, because if you have programs and you can't fund your programs, then performance we cannot predict.
Former Minister of Health Bernard Okoboy has donated items to the Greater Accra wing of the New Patriotic Party ahead of Eid celebrations. The donation is part of Okoboy's effort to energize the party's base and revive its fortunes in the region. Okoboy, hopeful for the Greater Accra New Patriotic Party chairmanship, believes the move will help boost the party's morale. His campaign focuses on revitalizing the party and enhancing its appeal to voters in the Greater Accra region.
If you check the data, the fortunes of the New Patriotic Party went down drastically over the past 8 years, and we need to do a lot of work to bring back the energy and to restore our hopes in the region. And myself, I'm consulting with the elders and patrons in Greater Accra so that I can lead the party in the region as the chairman. And you don't have to wait till you become the chairman before you bring energy. So what we are seeing today is to more or less energize our base, especially those that are Muslims. In this period of fasting, it is important to encourage them so that they can pray for the party, pray for the flag bearer, and pray for those of us who want to lead the move to restore the party to its glory. We were having 21 seats January 7, 2017. The 21 seats have gone all the way down to about 5 seats or so. That is a very drastic decline in fortunes, and it will take a lot of energy to bring the fortunes back. And Dr. Okoboy is going to lead this particular journey to restore hope and glory to the New Patriotic Party in the Greater Accra region. Leadership shouldn't be about transacting activities or just participating in events. It should be a relationship. I have a relationship with my Muslim brothers and sisters. In fact, One of them sent me a message and said, Doc, last year you were the only one who came in for us to bring back some love and energy. We hope it will be the same this year. And I told them, inshallah, we are going to see the same. And let me quickly say that I appreciate friends and family who continue to support some of these my activities.
The Ghana Journalists Association has condemned the ongoing intimidation of journalists by law enforcement agencies, citing a February 2026 CID summons of alleged false reporting. The Ghana Journalists Association is urging legal reforms to protect journalists and a civil redress instead of criminal complaint. GJA President Albert Jomfo has expressed concern over the increased attacks on journalists, stressing it erodes media freedom. The association is advocating for stricter laws to deter attacks and compensation packages for affected journalists.
Recent police invitation and interrogation of journalists. The Ghana Journalists Association, GJ, has taken note of recent development involving the invitation of some senior editors by the Ghana Police Service in February this year, and let me reiterate, by the Criminal Investigation Department of the Ghana Police Service in February this year. While we acknowledge the mandate of the police to investigate matters of public interest, we are compelled to express concern over a growing pattern that risks creating an atmosphere of fear within the media landscape. Quite recently, on 11 February 2026, the Police Criminal Investigation Department invited some of our colleagues following a report of alleged publication of false news made against them by the CEO of a state agency. Despite the same matter being pursued in court as a civil case. The action amounts to intimidation targeted at journalists and to the large extent editors of that matter, or in that regard. The association has also received troubling account from one of our colleagues who reported that following a police invitation on February 24, 2026, he was questioned over publications in his newspaper and asked to respond to unsubstantiated allegations, including claims of extortion involving an unnamed third party. According to the journalist, despite requests for clarity and evidence, the investigators failed to provide details to substantiate these claims. He was subsequently granted bail and later subjected to further interrogation, including examination of private communications. More concerning is the claim that under an ex-party court order, the investigator proceeded to seize the journalist's working tools, including a mobile phone, under unclear circumstances and without proper documentation. The journalist maintains that these actions were carried out on suspicion of an unspecified offense, raising serious concerns about due process and the protection of journalistic work in this country. One of our colleagues, who was also invited or among the invitees, also informed us that during interrogation over alleged false publication, he was at one point asked to disclose his source, a request he firmly resisted. Journalists are not bound to disclose our source, except the court or the laws of this country compel us to do so. It's only the court that can compel a journalist to disclose his sources. Apart from that, apart from the rule of law that will compel journalists to do so, journalists are not, but we are not under any compulsion, to disclose our source. And so he resisted. This is why the GJA, alongside other media stakeholders, has consistently called for the repeal of what we describe as repressive sections of the Electronic Communications Act 2008, Act 775, and the Criminal and Other Offences Act. These laws are often weaponized to arrest, intimidate, and muzzle journalists, thereby creating a climate of fear.
Safe Water Network is emphasizing the need for efficient water delivery system to attract investment and expand access to safe water in the country. Director Charles Nimako highlighted the importance of using prepaid meters to reduce losses and improve sustainability. At the 2026 Beyond the Pipe Forum, stakeholders explored solutions for safe water, with the Chief Executive Officer Chris Williams sharing insight on innovative approaches. The event aimed to drive progress towards universal access to safe water, aligning with Ghana's development goals.
If you're running a business where you're wasting 20-30% of your output, there's no way you can be efficient or you can be profitable. So we put together a pilot team to solve this non-revenue water issue. And by the way, non-revenue water is not just in Ghana. You go to New York, it's there. You go to India, it's there. You go to Cambodia, it's there. It's a big problem that is facing the water sector worldwide. So in Ghana, we have to identify what is causing these non-revenue water figures to spike up. Sometimes people they say that people are stealing the water. Yeah, that is also part of it. But the bigger part in our part of the world is undetected leakages. So how can we use technology to solve this? And I think that is what we've been piloting on. Road construction, most of these rural areas, it's not that they're doing road construction. Even though your pipes are very deep, when they start excavating, you cut the pipes. Now we put pipe markers on these excavators because sometimes they don't even look at your pipe markers. They just go and dig up the pipe. So how can we use technology to find out where the leakages are? Then we can solve it. Also, some of the meters, we are using electronic meters. As my colleague said, in other parts of the world, the manufacturer will tell you that the battery in your meter will last for 5 years. That is in areas where people buy 100 cedis of water at a go, or 200 cedis of water at a go. So the meter opens and closes not that frequently. You go to the rural areas, people buy 50 pesos, 1 cedi, 2 cedis. Especially in the compound houses, people pay 1 cedi, they buy and they fetch all the 1 cedi, and they go and store it in their bucket for the next tenant to also come and buy. So the meter keeps closing and opening a lot more times. So we found out that the battery obviously will die quicker. So these are some of the issues we are learning, and we want to share with the sector as we all progress towards prepaid meters. Now the old analog meters are being phased out of the system. We're using electronic meters linked to mobile money, so that when you charge the meter, the money comes out of your mobile money wallet, it goes straight to the bank. There's no human intervention. Just like you do when you pay for your, I think, electricity or whatever you use mobile money for your credit.
The National Hilal Committee has urged Muslims in Ghana to follow the guidance of the National Chief Imam for Eid Fitr celebrations. The committee will begin sighting the crescent moon on Thursday, March 19th, to determine the exact date of Eid Fitr. If the crescent is sighted today, Eid Fitr will be celebrated on Friday, March 20th. However, if not sighted, the celebration will be held on Saturday, March 21st.
Mr. Speaker, should we not have a situation where for every tender or every procurement, it is open, public, transparent, competitive tender? Let's find a way of answering that question, Mr. Speaker. Let's find a way of answering that question. Mr. Speaker, the danger and the risk we may have.
My advice to my fellow Muslims in Ghana here is Hilal Committee, we have objectives. Our main objective is to unite the Muslims under one umbrella by beginning the fasting together and ending the fasting together. There is only one way we can use, is to depend on our local sighting. When I say our local sighting, it means we cite our crescent in Ghana here in our country, not in any country. So if we are depending on our own crescent here in Ghana, inshallah, I know that is the only way which can bring the unity among the Muslim Ummah in Ghana here. So I'm advising my brothers and sisters in Islam, please, 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 please be with the National Hilal Committee, because we are on course. All what we are doing it according to the tradition of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Now,
in business, the Monetary Policy Committee of the Bank of Ghana has cut the policy rate by 150 basis points to 14%, the second consecutive time this year. In January, the committee reduced the policy rate from 18% to 15.5%. Speaking at a press conference, the governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Johnson Asiama, said the decision was made to support economic growth while keeping inflationary pressures in check. He added that the committee also considered the impact of geopolitical tensions in the Middle East on Ghana's economy. He, however, explained that the committee examined all the likelihood of Ghana's economy suffering from external factors and decided to cut the policy rate to 14%. He stated that the assessment was undertaken with an eye on domestic issues and other macro indicators. The Monetary Policy Committee has considered the current economic conditions, including subdued credit growth and declining non-performing loans, decided that a reduction in the policy rate is appropriate to stimulate lending and investment. The governor also highlighted that the banking sector remains strong and well capitalized despite slower credit growth, noting that total assets in the banking sector have increased and the stock of non-performing loans has declined, reflecting resilience in the financial system. To sports, we woke up Wednesday morning to the publication of a decision of the CAF appeal of the Board AFCON 2025 final case between Morocco and Senegal. The decision has rippled across the continent, igniting debate and raising eyebrows in equal measure. The ruling is a dangerous precedent on the adjudication of disputes in association football and can be faulted on three grounds: a misconception, a misinterpretation, and a misapplication of Art 82, Art 84 of the CAF AFCON regulations, an assault on Law 5 of the laws of the game, an attack on integrity of the game, whereas Art 82 states, for any reason whatsoever, a team withdraws from the competition or does not report for a match or refuses to play and leaves the ground before the regular end of the match without the authorization of the referee, it shall be considered loser and shall be eliminated for good from the current competition. The same shall apply for teams previously disqualified by decision of CAF. At 84 cautions that a team which contravenes the provisions of Article 82 and 83 shall be eliminated for good from the competition. This team would lose its match by 3-0 unless the opponent has scored a more advantageous result at the time when the match was interpreted. In this case, the score will be maintained. The organizing committee may adopt further measures. The combined effect of Article 82 and 84 of the regulation for the African Cup of Nations is that a team that refuses to play or leaves the match grounds before regular end shall be eliminated from the competition for good. That a punishment is meted to those who brings the game of football into disrepute. These are general provisions of the CAF disciplinary, which will apply in situations only where there are no specific provisions. Article 88 to 106 lay down elaborate acts of misconduct and the corresponding sanctions, including forfeiture of matches, stadium ban, and deduction of points. It must be appreciated that in the heat of highly charged contest marked by moments of provocation, it is not uncommon for players to protest decision. Such reactions are part of football emotional fabric, witnessed countless times even within domestic leagues. It becomes offensive and an infringement of the rules of the game when one team causes to the abrupt end of game through walkout and does not return to the end of the game. Such conduct may be punished with a forfeiture of a match. During the Morocco vs Senegal match in January this year, although there was a temporary hold-up, the players returned to complete the match. Individual misconduct may be identified and punished. The instant decision of the CAF Appeal Board is a high-handed misapplication of the rules, a dangerous precedent that must be condemned by all well-meaning followers of football. The circumstances for application of Art 82 and 83 were clearly non-existent in the case under review. By this decision, the CAF Appeal Board has brought onto CAF untold and unnecessary public opprobrium and contempt. In showbiz, veteran high life musician and chairman of the Telesol Ghana Music Awards Board, Amanziba, has expressed his disagreement with calls to offer special incentives to winners in the high life categories. Speaking in an interview, he dismissed suggestion by some stakeholders that artists who win high life awards in the TGMA should receive special prize packages. The debate forms part of ongoing discussions on how to preserve high life as Ghana's indigenous music genre. In the past, high life musician Dada Hafo has suggested that one of the ways to preserve it is to make it the ultimate award at the Telesol Ghana Music Awards. Other stakeholders, including producer P2s, have also argued that special prize packages for high life category could encourage more artists to embrace the genre. The 8th edition of Showbiz Roundtable examined the theme Preserving High Life as Ghana's Music Heritage. The panel featured Professor John Collins, Amanziba high life musician, Kofi Boache Ansah, also known as Beat Menant, audio engineer Adina, high life musician, and Jonas Bibi Hammond, a veteran music producer. The keynote address was delivered by the Chief Executive of the Ghana Tourism Authority. A special guest for the program was UNESCO's National Professional Officer for Culture, Carl Ampol, who provided insight into the publication of high life being listed as Ghana's intangible cultural heritage. On some global updates, Chairperson of the African Union Commission has commended the recent agreement by Guinea, Liberia, and Sierra Leone to pursue a peaceful and diplomatic settlement of ongoing border dispute. The announcement follows the high-level tripartite summit convened on March 16th by the heads of state of 3 Mano River Union member countries. In a statement issued on March 18th, His Excellency Yusuf Ali praised the collective decision by the 3 governments to choose dialogue over confrontation, emphasizing that this approach aligns with the African Union's normative frameworks, including the 2000 Constitutive Act and the 2009 African Union Non-Aggression and Common Defense Pact. It lauded the spirits of cooperation, good neighborliness, and respect for shared regional stability demonstrated by the 3 member states. His Excellency Yusuf Ali noted that this achievement underscores the enduring value of African solutions to African challenges, reinforcing the principle of peaceful settlement of dispute among African Union member states. The chairperson recognizes the constructive role played by ECOWAS and international partners whose efforts contributed to this positive outcome. In addition to resolving border tensions, the summit agreed to convene a meeting of the Mano River Union within 1 month to revitalize the regional body and enhance regular dialogue on peace, security, and development issues. The African Union chairperson welcomed this decision, retreating the union's continued support for government and people of Guinea, Liberia, and Sierra Leone, and consolidating progress and advancing regional peace and security. The chairperson applauds this collective decision to convene a summit of the Manu River Union and retreat the African Union's continued support to the government and people of the 3 West African countries in consolidating this progress and advancing regional peace and security, the statement concluded. And that's a wrap on the morning news update. Do want to log on to our website at www.GhanaTalksRadio.com for more news updates. I am Deborah Adoso. Good morning.
Are you ready to amplify your business or brand's reach and make a meaningful impact in Ghana and beyond? Partner with Ghana Talks Radio today to connect with a diverse audience across Ghana and beyond. Elevate your brand through on-air promotions and social media. Boost your brand during prime time. With Ghana Talks Radio, you can extend your reach across digital platforms. Ghana Talks Radio is not just a station, it is a community hub where your brand becomes part of the conversation. Join us in fostering connections, celebrating culture, and making a lasting impression. For customized sponsorship packages and enquiries, email contact@GhanaTalksRadio.com or call +233 202 544614. Ghana Talks Radio, giving the youth a voice.
Ghana Talks Radio, UK, Abrochimemu, era from Ghana Muha at the sound system, which is spinning machine papa, a free amana never be go among Ghana Muha. It is a year, engagement, wedding, birthday party. Political parties are more rally, some more crusade. So we'll book carnival or any kind of event. Now we'll pay spinning machine papa a boss sound in the moo at the dia and you may come for GTR sounds at the MAO. Your live band in so I would to answer at the frame ya beat me abababua. Ama ujumedia woody and so at me I come up. Yawa enkan popuni mantemo anya aponchi hotel a hope pepe ena yebutu odi ame se wo befre empanifo ewo 0546960510 GTR sounds emu de angaza.
This is Ghana Talks Breakfast Show, your morning companion. This is Ghana Talks Breakfast Show, your morning companion.
Ghana Talks Radio, #1.
This is Ghana Talks Breakfast Show, your morning companion. Good morning to you once again, and you are welcome to the Ghana Talks Breakfast Show right here on Ghana Talks Radio. You are tuned into your favorite online radio station. We are streaming live on Facebook at Ghana Talks Radio, on X, formerly known as Twitter, also on Ghana Talks Radio, and also on YouTube at Ghana Talks Radio. Do well to log on, send in your comments. Let's get interactive right here on the morning show. Sitting in the studios right here with me is my knowledgeable ladies, and we'll be looking at some interesting news headlines before we zoom into the second segment of the show. My ladies are well seated and they just can't wait to share their opinions on issues that matter to you every morning right here on the show. Good morning to you ladies, and you're welcome once again to the GhanaTalks Breakfast Show.
Good morning.
We had breakfast already. Not yet,
yet.
but soon. Miss Debbie, Miss Regina, sorry, yourself, have you had breakfast yet? All right, don't worry, breakfast will come very soon. Right, so before we delve into the second segment of the show, we are going to be looking at a few news headlines. Right, so I have here with me, I know previously we actually read that the minority is calling for the scrapping of the D-levy, and the majority have come to defend that. Let's go into the details of the story. Government defends 1 cedi's fuel levy, rejects minorities' call for abolition. The Ministry of Energy and Green Transition has defended the continued implementation of the 1 cedi fuel levy, rejecting calls from the minority in Parliament for its abolition. Richmond Roxon, spokesperson and head of communications at the ministry, told City that President John Dramani Mahama remains committed to policies that serve the best interests of Ghanaians. He emphasized that the president is attentive to citizens' concerns and assured that government decisions are made carefully to benefit the country. Roxon explained that the 1 cedi levy, introduced under the amended Energy Sector Levies Act (ESLA) in 2025, was designed to address critical shortfalls in the energy sector, particularly for the procurement of liquid fuels. In June 2025, when the finance minister tabled the bill in Parliament, it was clearly stated that the 1 cedi levy was to help deal with energy sector shortfalls, especially in the procurement of levy fuels, he said. He dismissed claims by the minority that the levy has outlived its usefulness, insisting that the rationale behind its introduction remains valid. The comment follows calls by the minority in Parliament for the immediate removal of the levy, which they describe as a burden on consumers amid rising fuel prices. The minority argues that the energy sector's debts have largely been cleared and that the continued imposition of the levy is no longer justified. However, the government maintains that a careful and objective assessment of the policy is necessary before any decision is taken, highlighting the levy's importance in sustaining stability in the energy sector. Right. So that is coming from the majority. They have come to debunk and also to defend the usefulness of the energy sector levy, which is the D levy, the 1 cedi levy per liter of fuel. Miss Regina, your thoughts on this, please?
So I would say if we hadn't or didn't see any positive impact on the levy, that is where we can boldly and emphatically say there's no use for the continuation of the 1 cedi levy. But here lies the case. During the first quarter of President John Dramani Mahama's time, we saw the crisis we experienced with the power issues. But once the 1 cedi levy was introduced and we started paying it, they were able to settle off some of the debt, and as at now our power is uninterrupted. It is continuing, it's very stable. Regardless of 1 or 2 issues we experienced, I think that was last week due to the rains. But aside that, our powers are very stabilized, and we would always, anytime we talk about any levy, we would use e-levy as an example, because when it comes to e-levy, we paid regardless of we not wanting to pay. It was against Ghanaians' rights, our interests, but we were still, should I use the word, compelled to pay. And as we were paying it, we did not see any positive impact on that. We did not see the good things that came out from the e-levy. According to them, they wanted to use e-levy to create more jobs for the youth especially, but we didn't see it. So with the 1 cedi levy, I think they should continue taking it as far as our power supply would be stable, it would be uninterrupted. And even if the debt is already cleared, Ghana itself, we are owing. We are in a lot of debt. So they can still take it and use it to pay off other bills. So that is it. It is what it is.
It is what it is. Ms. Debbie, have they justified themselves as to why they still have to continue taking the D-levy?
Yeah. It's explainable enough, because it says it's going to cater for the shortfalls in the energy sector, particularly the procurement of liquid fuels. So it's not only about clearing the debt owned by the energy sector, but also to procure liquid fuel, and also to sort out some basic challenges that the energy sector is facing. So this should clearly tell you that every decision that the government is taking through the Ministry of Energy is not to their own personal gain, but to the benefit of the country, because he stated that the government is carefully taking a decision that is going to benefit the citizens of the country, and not to maybe extort money from them and use it for otherwise. No, that is not what they are doing. So it should clearly tell you that the 1D levy we are paying, it's bearing fruit, a positive fruit at that, and not a negative one that we don't even see what is doing. So with the minority, I feel for now they should shut up and then just watch the ongoing measures of the government.
Because as I asked earlier, if we should stop paying the D-levy, are we done settling the debt? And even if we are done, can't we still continue to pay to settle other debts, just as Ms. Regina shared her opinion on that? The debt there, Ghana is in debt. So whatever that we need to do as a country to make sure that we help the government to clear up that debt, we should help. So the minority calling for the majority to abolish the D-levy, well, we don't buy into that. I don't buy into that, because if you ask me, the e-levy, when was the e-levy brought in? Is it 2021?
Let me confirm.
The e-levy, was it brought in 2021? We paid and paid and paid. Wasn't it last year that we stopped paying e-levy? When they said they were going to provide jobs, were we seeing the jobs?
No.
Did we tell anybody to abolish the e-levy?
We did though, but they didn't listen.
They didn't listen. They didn't listen. So why are they expecting the majority to listen to them now?
But even
the COVID-19 levy safe. COVID was over.
The levy was introduced in 2022.
Even the COVID levy safe. COVID was over. We were still paying COVID levy. What did they say the COVID levy will even sort out?
The COVID levy was to manage challenges in the health sector.
Did we see anything? Were you impressed so far with how they even
did nothing?
Did they even account to us, just like this previous administration is telling us that this money has generated this amount of money and they've been able to pay this debt? Did we see that in the previous administration? You are asking them to do it when you didn't do it. Shame on you. Randy Abe, past borrowing to sustain cocoa prices still hurting sector. The Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Cocoa Board, Dr. Randy Abe, has revealed that decisions taken nearly a decade ago to maintain cocoa producer prices through borrowing continue to weigh heavily on the sector. He made the remarks to the media after a brief ceremony introducing 3 distinguished Ghanaian cocoa farmers honored at the 2025 Cocoa of Excellence Awards held on February 20th in Amsterdam, Netherlands. Dr. Abe explained that effort to avoid reducing producer prices in the past led to the insurance of cocoa bills that are still impacting the industry. According to him, when global cocoa prices fell sharply in 2017, neighboring countries such as Cote d'Ivoire reduced its producer prices by about 40%. Ghana, however, maintained its prices by issuing cocoa board bills to raise funds. Dr. Abe noted that both local and foreign investors subscribed to the bills, but the cost of servicing them came at a price. He added that the situation worsened in 2022 when Cocoa Board and the government were unable to service both the principal and interest on the bills, leading to their inclusion in Ghana's domestic debt restructuring program. The Cocoa Board CEO further disclosed that the country is now required to service approximately 2.6 billion Ghana cedis annually as a direct consequence of the 2017 borrowing decision. Dr. Abe emphasized that the situation highlights the long-term risks associated with borrowing to sustain producer prices during periods of market volatility. Those decisions were taken 9 years ago, and today we are still dealing with the consequences. So this is from Dr. Randy Abe, the Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Cocoa Board. So producer price actually fell in 2017, and neighboring countries such as Cote d'Ivoire reduced their producer price by about 40%, but Ghana maintained its prices by issuing cocoa board bills to raise funds. So both local and foreign investors subscribed to the bill, but the cost of servicing them came at a price. Wow. So in order to look good in the eyes of the farmers and the eyes of Ghanaians, they couldn't communicate to them as to why they have to reduce the prices, but they rather maintained the prices and then went to borrow to come and source these people out. Hey, was that right? was that in a way trying to help the Ghanaian, or you are rather hurting the state?
You are hurting the state because in a way you want to look good in the eyes of these cocoa farmers and make it look as if you are trying your possible best to meet their needs. But behind the scene, you're also causing financial loss to the state, because as it stands now, we need, according to the Cocoa Board CEO, we need approximately 2.6 billion annually as a direct consequences of the 2017 borrowing decision. So this should tell you that with this cocoa sector, there are a lot to do, and I'm not sure within this 4-year term of NDC government, they can try, they will try their best, but I'm not sure we can sort this out. This will be a debt that will continue to pay.
It will be piled up.
Yeah, it will be piling up, and then we'll be paying. It's like you are trying to solve the issue by taking out the leaves without uprooting it from the root. So the mistake of one person in 2017 is what we are facing today. Now 2017 now buying Ben also. Again MPP. 2017 it was the New Patriotic Party that was in power. They were the one ruling us. And even with that crowd, the cocoa farmers suffered in their hands. That is why sometimes I don't even understand these cocoa farmers. Because these same people did not listen to you. Okay? The way they kept on borrowing to make it look as if they were working. But you were not feeling it. Because even during their time, we saw instances where cocoa farmers were complaining.
And this issue, has it been explained to the farmers that the previous administration actually...
They are doing it, but the MPP is still, on their toes, making it look as if the problem was incurred in just 1 year of the NDC government, which is not so. Because after, what's the name? The A2 Baumia Miracle Abuaji went to the farmers, explained to them, and then making it to look as if it's the NDC government and President Mahama, that how can such a huge debt be incurred in just 1 year of the sitting president? No, this doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense at all. It is something that was, in fact, it was intentionally created by the NPP government. It was intentionally created. So after they left there is another man also in cocoa board. He also works in the cocoa sector, which I've forgotten his name. He's kind of short to Tumsa. I also saw him there communicating to the cocoa farmers, explaining to them that this thing was left behind by the NPP government. So don't listen to them. As it stands now, I feel like the communication should be very intense. The cocoa farmer needs to understand very, very well that this is what is going on. They are trying, but I feel like more effort should be put in place. Because as it stands now, the NPP is trying their possible best to taint the image of the NDC government and make it look as if what they are doing, it's intentional just to pay them. But during the NPP government, you were not giving free fertilizer. NDC came, they were giving you free fertilizer. NPP never did that. When NPP was in power for 8 years, one were there, Omasha Waliti Buta cocoa to visit the cocoa farmers in the farm before. They don't do it. So why is it that now that the NDC government is in power, Miracle Abuaji has found his boot, his Wellington boot.
Another
Domple has found his Wellington boot. And they are now in the farms trying to persuade and convince these cocoa farmers that whatsoever they are going on is as a result of in a way, trying to say that the reckless spending of the NDC government. But in a normal sense, if you say that you want to calculate this thing, no government can incur such a debt within a year. What it be that?
From 2017.
2017.
So they've been
till 2024. They've been borrowing, sir.
About what were they thinking?
See, it's just like, let's say I owe you. And instead of me to pay you, I go to borrow from Regina to pay you. Then to pay Regina, I went to borrow from Q to pay Regina. It's me now one like a car. I don't pay to settle myself I borrow
Q,
to pay. Yes.
There's interest attached to it.
Yes.
Because that is the interest that has been piled that you'll be paying every
year. And the interest is just like MTN interest. When they give you up to, say, you know MTN, when you borrow for, I don't know, maybe I've borrowed from MTN before.
I've borrowed.
When you borrow from MTN, they can give you like maybe April 20th pay. When you don't pay, they add something to it.
Like 13%.
Yes, then it's continuous like that. But I'm sure with this particular one, it will be huge. It will be huge. So sometimes the interest is even more than, the actual debt you are owing. And that piles the whole debt and make it so huge. And that is what the NPP has been doing all this while. Imagine they are still in power.
So Dr. Baumia actually wanted to. We are not supposed to politicize.
No, we are not. We are just speaking to the truth.
But I want to analyze the issue here. Yeah, Miss Regina, you can equally also come on board. So Dr. Baumia wanted to be the vice president, and wanted to be the president. Sorry, and all of this were actually happening under his government. Was he not thinking that when he comes to power, he will suffer?
Did you see the interview where he was asked and he said he knows nothing about it?
Yeah, you see it? I remember.
He was asked about the cocoa issue. He said he knows nothing about it.
So is it fine?
How is it fine?
But we hear NPP communicators saying that Mama is expected to know everything. Whilst when your vice president was in power, he didn't even know the problem that was happening in a sector, a well-known sector that we say is part of the backbone of our economy. You don't know.
It's intentional. It's intentional. It's part of their political gimmick that they are doing. Okay, so it should tell you that this NPP party. See, I don't know, whatever you say is none of my business. But let me tell you the truth. The NPP party has nothing good to offer Ghanaians. They have nothing good to offer Ghanaians, and that is the truth. I don't care if you like sit in your home and tell me I'm being politics. This is no politics. They have nothing good. So let's just imagine that the NPP is still in power now.
Maybe they'll sell Ghana without telling us so. Miss Gina?
Yeah. So the decision they took way back, as they are saying, is affecting us. And And also at that time, it was favoring the farmers because they were enjoying. And now, we are suffering. Every day is trending on social media in regards to this cocoa issue, where one old man, yes, he's an old man, with his gap teeth. Mahama, which you mutaya, what do you car? I saw them. When I initially saw the video, I was like, oh, this is just a normal human being talking. But a couple of days, everyone was just recreating that video. I was like, oh, someone's father.
His plight.
You wake up, then you see your father trending. What you mutaya? What do you car? Me say Mahama, what do you car? And see, he's very serious talking, but I don't know why Ghanaians.
We've actually found it funny.
I don't want to say anything about MPP, but
what you mutaya? Obeka.
See. This I can't say we have difference between a leader and a boss. During Nanado's time, every 3 months is a 4 months. Over 10, we've borrowed. Every 4 months, 3 months, over 10, we've borrowed. It was under the administration I learnt IMF. I learnt say borrowing you will move ranks. We have the first
trench.
Second, they borrowed that to the fourth. I don't know, but yes, I'm not lying. In fact, they borrowed that to fourth. Oh, better know the first tranche of IMF money has been successfully taken. Second tranche has been taken. Third has been taken. Fourth has been taken. I was like, but these people, that money they are taking, what at all are they using it for? The MPPs, I will not say they don't have anything good to offer, because when it comes to both parties, they are all the same. MPP, they are the same. NDC, they are the same, because politicians, they wear the same color. It is one color they know. If it's white, it's white. If it's black, it's black. So, all this thing, Minister of Finance and Finance, Ken Oforiatta. Yesterday I saw an article where someone was saying, say, come home and face justice. He's not ready to come. This one that all pray UK or say US residency Onyambaye. So the best thing, sometimes I feel like when there's a problem, we should just let's go of the problem and fight hard and find a solution. So I feel like Randy Abe should try his possible best together with all the right stakeholders and make sure that they find a solution. Other than that, we suffer it.
For the issue of cocoa, dear, we are just hoping that the government will find a very strategic way to pay these people, because it looks like the NPP actually want to capitalize on this and then use it to win power, forgetting that they were the people that create this whole mess. I can say for a fact that they created this whole mess. Looking at what we have read, they created a mess.
I've been from 2017. They were in power.
They were in power, so we can boldly say that they created a mess. There are some sensible debts you can leave, and there are some debts that you can find your way around it. But this debt, they could have avoided it. Now, this is from Afenyo Markin. He said, if elections were held today, NPP would be in the majority. Minority Leader Alexander Afenyo Markin says. He also argues that the ruling National Democratic Congress has failed to fulfill key promises to Ghanaians. So, in short, what Afenyo is saying is that if elections were held today, the NPP will be the mighty majority in Parliament. Honest opinion, honest view. You can equally send your thought to us in the comment section. Do you believe that this is true, that if we were to swap power today, NPP will win the election. Mr. B.
Overconfidence.
You have to believe in yourself.
There are some confidence that you know perfectly well that they are far. But you just want to take a step, but you know there is nothing good that will come out from that. And that is basically what the NPP is doing. If election is conducted today, they are more convinced that they will win. It's a lie. That's a total lie.
What makes you think so?
It's a total lie, because look at what the NDC is doing. You see, we've heard a couple of MPP talking, and then they'll be like, oh, what is Muhammad doing? Muhammad should showcase what he's doing. He should mention what he was able to do in his last 1 year, comparing to what a former president, His Excellency Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo, did in the 8 years, and with that, Ghanaians are suffering. Sometimes I wonder where they get those info from. I wonder the kind of people they talk to or they interview. If election is conducted today, there is no doubt the NDC is going to win, and the NPP will still lose. Then, even if the NDC doesn't come, not again, NPP, not again in Ghana. I feel like they are just trying to deceive themselves, and that is the truth. Because trust me, Mahama is doing his best. Okay, he's trying his possible best. Look at the debt that was incurred. Let's just imagine that there was no debt incurred by the previous administration. All these monies that are being used to sort those debts would have been used in something beneficial to the country. But so long as we are using it to settle the debt, it should also tell us that it's delaying the progress of what the government has promised the good people of Ghana. So I feel like the NPP, there are a lot of homework they still need to do. It's not about sitting down talking uncountable press conference that you feel like, you win. The fact that you go to talk to the people, they take you give them money and they give you that assurance that Ebia Mobile will win for you. It shouldn't get to your head, because you should fear delegates. That is all I can say.
I think the NPP, the press conferences they've held alone is even more than the election votes they are though.
In a way.
Oh yes. Miss Eugenia, briefly.
Fear delegates.
Fear delegates.
That one there. Fear delegates.
I feel like the main reason why they have should I say the boldness to say this is because of Ghanaians. Ghanaians are easily, should I say, influenced or manipulated. No, let me use the word influence. They can switch at any time. They can switch to NPP, they can switch to NDC. Until Abana was normal share within 2 years. They've already planned the person they'll vote for in the next election. So I feel that is what is giving them the power to say that.
Well, you can also let us know your thoughts in the comment section. We are streaming live on Facebook at GhanaTalks Radio, on X at GhanaTalks Radio, and also on YouTube at GhanaTalks Radio. Let us know what you think. Do you agree with the minority leader Alexander Afenyo-Markin that if elections were held today, the minority will be majority? Right, we are going for a quick break. We'll be back into the second segment. Thank you.
Are you ready to amplify your business or brand's reach and make a meaningful impact in Ghana and beyond? Partner with GhanaTalks Radio today to connect with a diverse audience across Ghana and beyond. Elevate your brand through on-air promotions and social media. Boost your brand during prime time. With GhanaTalks Radio, you can extend your reach across digital platforms. GhanaTalks Radio is not just a station, it is a community hub where your brand becomes part of the conversation. Join us in fostering connections, celebrating culture, and making a lasting impression. For customized sponsorship packages and enquiries, email contact@GhanaTalksRadio.com or call +233 202 544614. GhanaTalks Radio, giving the youth a voice.
This is GhanaTalks Breakfast Show, your morning companion.
GhanaTalks Radio, number one.
are back on your screens again. We are streaming live on Facebook at GhanaTalks Radio, on X at GhanaTalks Radio, and also on YouTube at GhanaTalks Radio. This is the GhanaTalks Breakfast Show right here on GhanaTalks Radio. Right. This is the second segment of the show, and as you know it, we don't do this alone. We come with political analysts, youth activists, NPP communicators, NDC communicators who are going to dive into the issues and share more insight on the topics we have on board. And right here in the studios this morning, we have Mr. Nelson Jatta. Am I seeing right? The NDC communications team member. And we also have Mr. Mohammed Sharif, NPP Communications. Kasim Mohammed Sharif, right, the NPP Communications team member as well, right here in the studios with us. And I believe they can't wait, just as I also can't wait to learn from them. We learn from each other and to feed you this morning on topical issues that matter to you right here on the GhanaTalks Breakfast Show. So as part of the issues we will be looking at today this morning, rising fuel prices and the minorities' call to scrap the 1 cedi levy, and also government to develop a national emolument policy to tackle salary disparities. So those are the issues we'll be looking at this morning with my knowledgeable guests. Good morning to you, gentlemen, and you are welcome to the GhanaTalks Breakfast Show. Good morning, Kasim.
Good morning, Ma.
How are you doing?
I'm fine. Thank God for life.
So today you're fine. You don't have a problem.
I'm fine, but not fine with the government.
You every day you're not fine with the government.
And also today is the last day of Ramadan, so
so you're excited.
Tomorrow will be Eid, so I'm very excited.
Is it tomorrow that you share the meat?
No, this one is not meat.
So this one is what?
This one is Eid al-Fitr.
So what will you share?
Oh, this one is just a normal.
So you go and pray and come back.
Yeah, but we'll make merry and.
Of course. So you share me. Bring my own.
Sure, definitely.
Mr. Nelson, NDC Communications team member.
Yes, that's right.
Anyways, good morning.
Good morning.
You're welcome.
It's always a pleasure to be here, and you and your team, you are doing a very amazing job.
Thank you, my producer.
I can see that now you are having a new hair. The last time I came here, it was a different style. Every day the style keeps changing.
I got tired, so I was like, let me rock my natural.
Oh, that's good. It's good to look good. I mean, that is what we all pray for, especially when the economy is giving that environment to enable everybody to look good. My brother is celebrating Ramadan. He said he's super excited. I mean, nobody can be excited in the midst of chaos or in the midst of instability or a hostile environment. So alhamdulillah, we thank Allah for his greatness, and we are all doing well.
I see. Mr. Nelson.
Yes.
Before we get into the show, I saw something on your flyer.
Yeah.
I mean, when I received it yesterday, I was like, what happened? Did you write an exams and then you passed? And I was like, okay, you finally passed, so you have to be a part of the communications team. Or it's just a personal decision you took for yourself and be like, oh, okay. I think I'm impressed so far with how the government is dealing with the country, so why not? Using my brain, why not communicate with them? Which is which?
Yeah, so thank you very much for that. That's a very good, you've taken good notice of that.
Oh, yes.
I mean, I've been a youth activist and a social commentator right from childhood.
Oh, I see.
And it is something that is a part of me. But communicating for the NDC has also been something I've been doing way from university. In fact, everybody that knows me...
so you are already an NDC communicator?
I have been communicating for the NDC right from tertiary. University of Ghana team. Everybody that knows Jatta to the NDC brand. But that does not mean I can also not be a youth activist. I advocate youth interests. I advocate for things that benefit the youth. So it aligns with what the government is doing.
But don't you think if it's going to conflict, it's going to make it look as if, because you're an NDC and also a social youth activist, you're actually supposed to be And they said there's nothing like neutral. You're actually supposed to be objective. You say the issue as is it. But it looks like right here
you see,
in
that is the difference.
If you speak the truth, they are affiliate you to a particular party.
Good. That is the difference. That exactly is the difference between the NDC and the NPP. The NDC is a party for everyone. In the NDC, you can speak your mind. You can still make your constructive criticism of what the government is doing. That is how come just last week there was concerns about the recruitment process. People spoke about it, and the president listened. He made a stakeholder engagement, and they increased it from 10,000 to 20,000. So in our political party, activism is playing a very, very key role. So today, it shouldn't surprise you if you see the ordinary Ghanaian or a member of the NDC still being an activist. That is what the party represents.
So this morning, you are communicating as an NDC communicator.
Precisely so.
Because there were instances where right here in the studios, you communicated, and then they got to find out that you are a social youth activist, and they keep asking, are you sure you are not an NDC communicator? And you denied it.
What I said to them was, at the time I came here, I come here in the capacity of a youth activist and a social commentator.
Oh, okay.
But coming in today, I'm coming in from today onwards, I'm coming in as a communicator for the NDC, which is because I have, as I said earlier, that I started communicating for the NDC right from tertiary. So it's just something that I'm advancing further. Yeah.
So if we have anything of youth, can we call on you to?
Why not? That is what the NDC represents.
And the man of many colors. This is like Joseph in the Bible.
You can say that.
Anyway, congratulations to you. Since it's a personal decision you've taken yourself, we wish you well.
Thank you.
Right, Kasim. You've seen that Jata has
changed
to cut.
Hear Jata say this. Ask him whether he's not sure that it's an appointment that he's needing. That's why he's.
Oh, are you sure?
Oh, I said you should ask him first.
You see, the politics is about the interest of the country. It is never about us. It is always Ghana first. Always Ghana first. That is the politics we play here. That is what the NDC is about. It's never about personal interest.
I see. I see. That's nice. Right. We are just going to zoom into the topic for discussion this morning. Our time is far gone because we couldn't meet you guys right here on time. Okay, so for our first discussion has to do with the rising fuel prices and also the minority calling for the cancellation of the D-levy. Now, formerly, fuel prices were, if I'm not mistaken, were around 9 cedis and some coins. And then we saw that it came to 10 cedis. But now, petrol is above 12 cedis, 40 pesos Ghana cedis per liter. And we've also seen diesel to 15 cedis, 60 Ghana cedis per liter. And this is actually as a result of the conflict happening in the Middle East, where the government told us that fuel, they told us that fuel is going to be available, but the prices is going to be different. Now we've seen it rising. 15 cedis and 12 cedis, and I'm sure that because the chaos is still ongoing, and I'm very positive that it's not like I'm wishing that it should go up, but let's face reality. That is the reality of it. It will definitely go up, but fuel is going to be available. Looking at all of this, where do we stand as a country?
All right. Thank you very much for that intelligent question. Before I begin my submission, let me first of all greet our the 35 million well-meaning Ghanaians that watch us, and also my regards to the president of the country, my president, your president, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. He's currently on a Reset Ghana tour, inspecting the projects and then also trying to hear directly from the citizens. And he's presently in the Bono region, inspecting the Gini to Sampa Road, as well as the Doma 24-hour economy market. These are all things, very, very impressive things that the president is doing. He believes that it's not enough for the president to be briefed by ministers at the presidency. So he's
He's
getting out of
himself.
the confines of his office, getting on the grounds to touch with hands with the reality. Now back to the issue of rising fuel. It's a very unfortunate situation which we are currently facing as a country. I mean, then the whole world, it's a global phenomenon that the whole world is facing currently, and it's not something that anybody is excited about or should be excited about, unless of course that person is an enemy of state, which I don't believe any well-meaning Ghanaian is going to be in that kind of position. But then presently, from the energy minister, he said that he cannot guarantee the price as at now, but what is guaranteed is the fact that we have stable fuel which can sustain us for the next 6 weeks. 6 weeks. Yes, and there are vessels which are still on the way coming, and just that the challenge that we are facing currently is it has to do with the rising cost of insurance for these vessels due to the nature of the conflict, and also the rising cost of petroleum products on the market. So we should brace ourselves for this impact, and I say this in a sense that our economy doesn't live in isolation, and for a country like Ghana that we import a lot of our petroleum products, this conflict is taking a toll on us. So in times like this, the only thing we can look forward to is to continue with engagements to first of all ensure the safe arrival of some vessels are yet to arrive, the safe arrival of those vessels, and also let us support the government, because the government is taking a precise decision to make sure that we have enough fuel for at least the next 6 weeks. And the last time I was here, I made you understand that I don't see the conflict escalating for a prolonged period of time, and I've given all those reasons. So I mean, already we are beginning to see that it is likely to the conflict is likely to come to an end. But I also indicated last week, if you had paid attention, that due to the first thing that conflict does is to create uncertainty, and it is this uncertainty that boosts or make prices unstable, because of price before price will increase. It is first has to do with perceptions and predictions, because if people anticipate that in the near future there might be shortage in fuel, people begin to hoard the fuel that they have on the international market. People begin to hoard the fuel they have, and that alone is going to reduce the fuel in supply, which means if supply is limited but demand is high, price is going to increase. So what we are facing is just a bit of the economics, but within a period of time, as and when the conflict comes to an end, we should see decline in the price. And it's very, very unfortunate to start with, but I'm still confident that the government is going to put in place measures to ensure that the impact on the ordinary Ghanaian is minimal.
Right. Mr. Kasim, your thoughts on the rising fuel prices?
Well, thank you so much for this opportunity. I greet our viewers out there, my political party, everyone out there, our flag bearer, His Excellency, the former President, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, and everyone in the MPP and all the Muslim communities. Now, you see, to speak on this issue of rising fuel prices and the minority demanding that the D-levy should be taken off. Now, let me state clearly that as someone who believes in karma, and also someone who doesn't support hypocrisy, it would have been very refreshing to see the NDC getting into such a situation, but because of my personality, the political party I come from, and my love for my country wouldn't allow me to do that. Now, let's look at the D-levy. The NDC some time ago were saying that the MPP imposed a lot of taxes on the people, and they were going through a lot. The people were finding it hard, knowing very well that we brought some of those taxes to serve purposes, but they said a lot of things against that. And today they are here, they cancel some and they are bringing some again, and that's the D levy. Now they brought D levy with reasonable reasons to justify it, and we didn't disagree with them. We were like, okay, fair enough, providing that we have debts in our energy sector, the power crisis and other things, and also the fact that the NDC's inability to make sure that the country have electricity at all times. So if they are bringing such a thing, no problem, good one. So now we can see that the tax really did something. It pays some debts, tried to do something in the energy sector. But today, what are we seeing? People are still paying this D levy, but we see power outages. People are complaining here and there. People are complaining. Just recently, we saw what the People's Forum revealed, where the people are crying on this electricity issue.
Have you seen
Meanwhile,
that they reduced the electricity tariffs?
Good one, I'm coming. Meanwhile, the people were crying. Now, what we are trying to say is that if we are going to be honest, the purpose of this D levy is not really seen again.
Are you sure?
Now, get me right. The reason why I'm saying so is that the prices being reduced hasn't stopped the people from complaining from power outages. The people still complain. Day in, day out. We have Dumso in and out. The people are complaining.
When last did you experience Dumso?
Oh, I personally experienced Dumso not too long ago, just within this week. No, just last week. But I have seen complaints from people. Even online, we see videos of people.
Dumso.
Oh yes. Oh, even this popular tardy man who usually takes his phone like this to complain about issues was on the Dumso issue just recently. I'm talking about that.
How long does it last? Does it last the whole day?
No, what we are trying to say is that
my question is, does it last the long day?
The light of I can't best tell, but what I'm trying to say.
But you said you experienced Dumso, so you should be able to tell if it lasts the whole day.
Dumso. Are you trying to say that whether the power is out for the whole day or the Dumso has been occurring for the whole day?
No, if you say Dumso,
all right.
During President John Dramani Mahama's first tenure, when they say Dumso, that means that we are given a particular timetable that, this area is going to go off and it will come back at 6. That was when people were actually complaining that it is affecting their businesses. So that was the Dumso you are saying. But what we are even experiencing right now, the energy minister even came out to communicate with us that there are ongoing maintenance. So due to that, these are the areas that will be experiencing Dumso. So you are aware. I don't even think this is actually we should term it as Dumso, because I don't see it to be, honestly, in my personal opinion, I don't see it as Dumso, but a sort of maintenance work that they are doing. The last time we experienced outages, and this one was not just this area, I think it went, a lot of people were actually affected due to the rain. When they came out to say that, so and so happened, so they had to take the powers out, so they had to do some maintenance work, and we find out that the lights came on around 5 o'clock. But if you say Dumso, you actually make it look as if today this area is going off, the next day this area is not going off. But that is not the situation we're experiencing right now.
So, and that is not what I'm saying.
So
you are saying your view, trying to get what I'm saying. I don't know if you get me. Now, you see, I am trying to tell you that people still go through power outages each and every day, paying D levy here and there. Now, you see, when I get off from that, I am trying to let you understand that there are justified reasons why the minority is saying that the D-levy should be taken off, providing that the NDC was against the fact that the past government posed a lot of taxes on the people, and those taxes were serving purposes. It wasn't just there for to just take monies from people. So that is what we are saying. If you were preaching that taxes shouldn't be on people like that without seeing much benefit of that taxes, and today we do see complaints in the energy sector, but still we have a levy that is being paid, then we can equally say that then take it off.
Do you remember that
allow me please. You see, I was talking about hypocrisy. Now you see, when we look at the fact that fuel prices are rising, and I'm going to ask the NDC whether they have an excuse. I'm not sure they should have. And listen, we will not, and they can't tell us there's a reason. We will not allow them to hypocritically flip stance today. Not at all. You see, clearly you can say that there are obvious reasons telling us that the power outages or this fuel prices rising should be understood, but it could equally be understood the past years. Do you agree with me? But how was the NDC speaking to the people? That is what we are considering. So that was why in my submission earlier I started off by saying that I don't like hypocrisy and I believe in karma. So if we don't care for our country and that we are going to use our political factors to go against things or tell the people what is not right, then we should be asked questions. So today, if I decide to say that there is no global market affecting the current fuel prices, what are they going to say? Have you forgotten not too long ago the NDC was taking the credit that they have reduced fuel prices in the country today? Meanwhile, they had no effect in, they did absolutely nothing in that, but they were taking credit for that. Have you forgotten? And the people were praising them here and there. Abba. Today fuel prices are rising and you want us to understand that it is because of global market. Something that few years ago you never supported, that global challenges, global market can affect fuel in a country. So you see, when we try to take them back to some of these words, they try to tell us that what they said weren't in books. Reports and here and that were telling us that yes, we had some global challenges that was affecting our economy, but they have forgotten that we've piled up videos, we've piled up comments from them, even the current president, where they were telling the people that nothing is happening. You see, so I don't want someone to see the MPP look like a party who doesn't want to see the country go well, who doesn't wish well for the country. No, don't do that. We don't have to do that. So that was why I said earlier that it would have been very refreshing to see the situation the NDC is going on today. But I love my country and I wouldn't like it to go that way.
Right.
Now, look, with this issue, now you can come and see that just yesterday, what the minority leader said, and it was going around.
What did he say? He
was saying that the NDC has never promised that they are going to cancel the teacher licensure exams. That is the hypocrisy I'm talking about. Look, so when they were in opposition, they could see that there were some issues, there were some factors, reasons that was stopping the MPP from tackling some particular issues. But they were still supporting it, telling the people that they can do it. They can do it. They don't have any reason. Right. Today you are here facing some of them and you are changing stance. You are telling the people different things.
Right. So away from the teacher licensure exams you just brought about, you are saying that you are not seeing the usefulness of the 1 CD
levy, and then due to that,
we are not again.
You are not seeing it again.
Seeing that the complaints are still up. You see, when a situation gets to a point that people are required to pay, okay, people are required to pay for it, then we don't expect complaints from there. That is what I'm saying. We don't expect, expect complaints from there, and we are good to say so. We are very good to say so.
Right. Roxanne, the spokesperson for the Energy Ministry, Mr. Roxanne, explained that the 1 cedi levy introduced under the amended Energy Sector Levies Act, EXLA, in 2025 was designed to address critical shortfalls in the energy sector, particularly for the procurement of liquid fuels. He dismissed claim by the minority that the levy has outlived its usefulness, insisting that the rationale behind its introduction remains valid. Now, away from what he said, he has explained to us why the 1 cedi levy has actually been introduced was to sort out some shortfalls and debts. Now, one question that I want to ask you, Mr. Mohammed, is that are we done paying the debt?
Are we done?
Are we done paying the energy sector debt that your administration left behind? Are we done paying it?
Good one.
To why you are calling the D-levy to be cancelled? Are we done? Have you seen the rest of the debt that is left?
Good one. We were still recovering our economy.
You were still recovering.
Listen, I'm coming, please. We were still recovering the economy back from 2023 into 2024, where some taxes were ongoing, and the NDC saw it clearly, and they were telling us that we have to take them off. That is why I'm very centered on hypocrisy, on karma.
Right. So are you saying that you didn't see the relevance of the 1 cedi levy that we paid?
I am saying
the ministry came out to tell us that they paid 1.42 billion Ghana cedis of the debt that was incurred from the previous administration. Didn't you see that?
And I'm telling you that I have seen that, but I'm using their words. I'm telling you that COVID levy, e-levy, and co were 7 purposes.
Were you transparent with Ghanaians as to what?
Do you think we were? You think we weren't?
I'm asking a question.
All right.
Were you transparent and accountable to Ghanaians as to what the e-levy sought to do, and even the COVID-19 levy? Mind you that COVID-19 was over way back, but you were still paying it. What were those monies doing?
Now, what I'm telling you is that COVID-19, how the government catered for the people, it caused this.
So
listen, please. It caused us inflation.
No,
now listen. It was very. No one told you that.
Were they transparent?
Wasn't that obvious enough? Now, what I'm trying for you to understand is that those levies. Then, if you try to consider that COVID was over and we're still paying COVID levy, I'll ask you a question. And telling you that we were still using it to recover the economy that has so many mess when COVID was available. So if COVID is done and we take off all those things, what are we going to use to recover the economy?
So what did you recover? Can you point out some of the projects?
So now what I'm trying to let you understand
with those levies.
Good one. What I'm trying to let you understand is that those levies, when they were on, getting to the end of our tenure, you see that the economy was recovering. That's why when we had inflation at 54% in 2022, getting to 2023, it came to 39.
It was 23.
2023. From when it was 54 in 2022, 2023, it came to 39. And at the end of 2024, that was where it came to 23. So this tells you that the economy was recovering. When you checked on the World Bank report on page 11, told you that the Ghana's economy was started a recovery process, and these were the things we were using. Even the Bank of Ghana report, it was there, where they cited that the Ghanaian economy is coming back to its feet. You see that? What do you think was taking it back? So you see, what I'm trying to say is that any Ghanaian that is today saying that these levies wasn't serving any purpose, it is because of the words of the NDC. It is because of the words of the NDC they used to tell Ghanaians.
But don't you think it was because we were not seeing it?
You weren't seeing it? Like how? Why weren't you seeing it?
Because
why weren't you seeing it? Why don't you see this thing that inflation got down when we were in 2024? That's why I'm coming, please.
It's only the
I'm
inflation.
coming, please. Not only, listen, I don't know why you are just, but I'm giving you some little things that you should take to understand. You get that? The CD when we had it at 17 or whatever, when we're getting to the end of 2024, it came back to 40. That was telling you that obviously the economy was recovering. And what was bringing it back? That is what we want Ghanaians to understand. And Ghanaians are still with this kind of mindsets because of what the NDC told them. So I don't want the Ghanaians to see us bad or see us as a body that is wishing bad for its country. Right. Knowing very well that some people lie to their way to power. And today that is why we are facing that. So let me put it on record that the MPP and the taxes we brought after the crisis from the COVID-19 and the Russian-Ukraine war came to serve purposes, and it did. It came to bring back our economy, and gradually it was bringing back the economy. And I didn't expect any citizen to have expect that the economy should have fully come back to its phase, because definitely we know that an economy which got down drastically has to take days to recover, gradually. So not at all.
Okay.
Let's take that mindset off our minds for our country's sake.
Right. Mr. Nelson.
I thought we were here to do a very dispassionate political analysis, but clearly my brother came here to do propaganda and throw dust in the eyes of Ghanaians, and I will not sit here and watch him mislead 35 million well-meaning Ghanaians who gave the mandate to President John Dramani Mahama to rule over this nation due to how they mismanaged this country. Just to address what he said with regards to licensure. He said that the NDC promised to cancel licensure. I'm asking him to prove, where did we say or state categorically or emphatically that if we come to power, we were going to cancel the licensure? We never rubbished the licensure. We never said anywhere that we were going to cancel licensure. The problem we had with the licensure was the process and the manner in which it was carried out. What we said at the time that we were in opposition, if you graduate a teacher's training, if you graduate, you now come home and pay and register to write a licensure exams after you are already a graduate. And we said no. How can I go to school, complete, graduate? Do you know what it means to be a graduate? To have a certificate. If I have a certificate for completing teacher's training, and that certificate does not make me a professional teacher because I do not have the licensure, then what is the use of the graduation? Then why should people pay money to go and write licensure exams after completing school, after them sitting home for some time? And we said no. When we come into power, we are going to make sure that the final exams that they write, whatsoever that the examination authorities are going to expect or put in that licensure exam, they should add it to the exams, so that when you are done with your final exams, that final exam is already part of the licensure. So now you are a licensed teacher. You are now a graduate, because it truthfully doesn't make sense that you will complete and be a graduate, but you are not a professional teacher.
I'm not interjecting. Now, have they done that?
What then is the use of the licensure? That was what we promised.
Have you done that?
So for him to say that we lied, that we were going to, I am refuting the lie he said.
So have you done what you told them? And we had it on records that you said you were going to cancel it.
Mr. Mohammed.
I'm not interjecting, but why haven't they done that? Okay, you told them you were going to add it to their normal exam. Why didn't you do that?
When you were speaking, I did not interject.
No, I just want you to understand this.
Mr. Mohammed, continue. I sat here and allowed you to label and spew all gibberish against this government. I did not interject you.
Continue.
You had your time to speak, and you chose to spread propaganda. Allow me to speak the truth to the people. You said the licensure was we promised to cancel. We did not promise that. I have clarified that. Now, you also came to speak about Dumso. As we speak today, Dumso does not exist anywhere in our part of the country. Dumso does not exist. Before the NPP will leave power, we were experiencing a bit of Dumso. And when we came into power, we have been able to stabilize power supply. And I'll come to why it even necessitated the 1 Ghana cedis fuel levy. Now, why people are still experiencing power outage is simply because before you experience power outage, ECG will come and give you notice that maintenance works are ongoing, as experienced in Ashanti region. So they may experience certain power outages. And you cannot call that Dumso because it is maintenance works that is ongoing. If your light is out, it could be a technical problem within your vicinity. Just a month ago, we witnessed that they stole transformer somewhere. So the area there was blackout. Now, will you blame the government for the missing transformer? No, we cannot blame the government for that. So let us be very, very circumspect and responsible in the comment that we put out. Now, let me come to the GH1 fuel levy. You see, it can only be ignorance that will make anybody to say the 1 Ghana cedis fuel levy is useless. It can only be ignorance. Now, I do not doubt that it may bring some form of discomfort or burden onto the taxpayer. I mean, we all as humans, we do not like anything that will take an extra cedi out of our pocket. We are all sensitive to price. But when the president was even coming to pass or approve this, the president made it known that he regrets deeply that we are going to take this difficult decision. But also, it has become imperative on us to take this decision because of how the energy sector was mismanaged. The NPP, before they will leave power, before we came into power in 2025, we inherited a debt of $3.1 billion in the energy sector. And by the end of 2025, we were able to pay 1.47 billion out of this debt after the implementation of this 1 Ghana cedis fuel levy. So you see how useful this fuel levy is. And we are still not done paying the energy sector debts.
So why are they calling it to be off?
It cannot be useless. That's why I'm saying it can only be ignorance. It can only be ignorance. And for this to come out from the NPP, I find it, he was speaking about hypocrisy. What else is hypocrisy than the NPP coming to tell Ghanaians today that the 1 Ghana cedis levy on fuel is useless? When we will not, in as much as it is a bit of discomfort and we regret to take this decision. But mind you, we inherited an economy that was collapsing. And by the time we will leave office, we were able to improve upon the economy. No, we have, sorry. By now, by the time we came into power and to now, even just a few years in government, we have been able to stabilize the economy. You remember, we brought the dollar down. Fuel, at a point in time, fuel went as high as 23 Ghana cedis. Before they will leave power, they left it around 16 Ghana cedis. At the time of the implementation of this 1 Ghana cedis levy, the fuel was around 10 cedis, 11 cedis. The gains in the economy was a lot, such that even major retail enterprises came out with communique saying that because of the gains that have been made in the economy, they have decided to reduce the cost of their items like Okadeku, Electromats, and so many other companies. They were reducing. In fact, you can even bear me witness, a ton of iron rod that used to sell around 9,000 Ghana cedis. Presently, it is around 7,000 Ghana cedis. A bag of cement that was around 125 cedis. Now it is around 100 cedis. So there were significant gains in the economy. Now, in face of these significant gains, we still have a ballooning debt to pay in the energy sector. Therefore, let us plead with Ghanaians that let us pay an extra cedi, so that we can pay off this debt and consolidate the gains that we have made. And then we have been able to do that. We have been able to pay some parts of the debt. We have been able to pay 1.47 billion out of the 3.1 billion debt we inherited. Now, what I will not tolerate is the NPP carrying themselves as tax relief champions. Since when did the NPP become concerned about taxes in this country? Which government in the history of the Fourth Republic has introduced more taxes than the NPP? The taxes that the NPP introduced, some of the taxes, I can name about 41 taxes that the NPP introduced under Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia and President Akufo-Addo. I can name over 41 taxes. They brought COVID-19 levy, they brought emission tax, they brought betting tax, they brought e-levy, communication service tax, which increased a cost on airtime from 6% to 9%. You all saw how expensive it was to recharge. They brought that in 2019. They also introduced sanitation and pollution levy, which was on every petroleum product. They brought this tax. They also brought the financial sector cleanup levy, which was about 5% profit on 5% of the profit that banks make before tax. All these levies they brought. When President Mahama came to power, we cancelled the COVID-19 levy, we cancelled emission tax, we cancelled e-levy, we cancelled betting tax. Look at the reliefs that we have created for Ghanaians. So why will they come here and be pretend as if they care about Ghanaians? What we will not allow them to pretend as if they care about Ghanaians, or they pretend to as if, since when did they start caring about taxes? It is we that have even alleviated the plight of Ghanaians the most. It is even the NDC, even these 5 taxes. Do you know how much these 5 taxes was taken away from individuals with the cancellation of this COVID-19 levy alone? Even after COVID, we were still paying this COVID-19 levy, which was 1% on goods and services, including items that will be imported. Which means if I buy food 100 cedis, I'm going to pay 1 Ghana cedis. So every single food you buy, you pay 1 cedi. If you buy mobile phone for 10,000 Ghana cedis, you pay 1%, which is 100 Ghana cedis as COVID-19 levy. A tax that Ghanaians complain that it has outlived its relevance. So we cancelled all these taxes. And then we have introduced this very, very necessary one so that we can be able to pay the debt in the energy sector. And we also understand that presently, we spend a lot of money on to import petroleum products. If we don't do this, how do we stabilize the energy sector? If we don't do this, how do we ensure our independent power providers are being paid? These are the critical things that we must look about. These are the critical things we must look at. It should not always be politics. And the President John Dramani Mahama is a listener. He is somebody that listens to the plight of people. Recently, people were complaining about recruitment. What did he do? He ensured the number was increased.
Extended, yeah.
As we speak today, he's in a Bono region, listening to people. He's inspecting projects. He's not an armchair president. What this means is that if Ghanaians are complaining at this point in time due to the rising cost of fuel, and they are saying that the 1 cedi levy is too much, President Mahama is eager and will welcome diverse opinions for discussion. Okay, it is too much. So what can we do about the situation? What then is the alternative? Now, this is what the NPP has failed to provide. You are giving the criticism, and you are not giving us any credible alternative. So how then do we pay the sector debt? How then do we keep our lights on? How then do we manage the energy sector? These are conversations that we must have. And look, the president is open to having these discussions. So I want my brother here to tell me what is the alternative, because at the end of the day, we want light to be on. At the end of the day, we want to be able to service our debts, and we do not want to continue borrowing money. So how can we do all this without taking the 1 cedi debt? If they are able to give us a very, very feasible and sustainable alternative, the president will of course welcome it. But if they are not able to do that, they should not spread propaganda. They should not mislead Ghanaians to think that the 1 Ghana cedi levy on fuel is something that is outrageous or something that is unnecessary. Because it is very much necessary, and the facts have demonstrated that we are putting that money to the judicious use. And lastly, Ghanaians do not have problem with paying taxes. Ghanaians are more solution oriented. So if you are taking the taxes and you are demonstrating that you are putting it to judicious use, Ghanaians are open to pay. Ghanaians will not oppose the taxes. The NPP is so hypocritical. Do you know that in 2015 they also maintained and adjusted the energy sector amendments? They benefited from the energy sector amendment in 2015. They used it, but today they are criticizing the amendment that we made in June 2025. That is a clear definition of hypocrisy, and that should not have a space in our politics.
Right. Mr. Kasim. So, key remaining energy debt status, total legacy debt, despite the 2025 payments, which was the 1.747, reports indicate that over $300 million to $770 million in legacy debt is still owed specifically to independent power producers. Now, if the minority is calling for the D-levy to be cancelled, as Mr. Nelson mentioned, what other alternatives should the government follow to pay the rest of the debt?
Good one. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Now, before I answer your question, the NDC communicator here was saying a lot of things, forgetting whatever they were saying back years. And you know, I can't say anything and leave their words. Because look, today you are telling Jesus to preach to us that we should care about the country, knowing very well that you weren't doing that. Although the MPP as a political party is so good that they wouldn't do that, but we are just trying to let you know what you were telling the people. Now, these teacher licensure exams that they are talking about today, and you were shamefully turning your back, shamelessly turning your back to these graduates, these teachers, to tell them that you never said that the teacher licensure exam should be cancelled is a blatant lie. It is completely untrue. It is a palpable lie that you spoke to them on several occasions during the elections toward the campaigns towards the 2024 elections, where you were moving from teaching training to the other, telling them that you are going to cancel it. The word cancel was there. So you don't have to come here and sit and hypocritically, like I always say, to say that you didn't tell them that and that you were centered on the manner in which the exam was conducted. It is a big lie. Now, when you come to during the 2024 campaign, President John Dramani Mahama announced his plans to cancel the teacher licensure exams during a speech at St. Joseph College of Education in Bechem, Brong-Ahafo region. This is the fact. This is the fact. You said it. You said it. You said it on several occasions.
From which news portal?
This is graphic.com, graphiconline.com, and Ghana Web. You said it on several occasions where Ghanaians, we had videos of that. So today, if you are to stand here and tell us that you never said that, look, we know how you try to keep things today. Even the 24-hour economy with the way you were. So you see, the NDC, what we try to let you understand is that the way you were promising the people, forgetting that when you come, there will be some factors that might make it hard for you to go about it the way you promised them. So you can't today come to stand here to change words and expect us to allow you. Now you are even saying that you were talking about the manner in which the exam was conducted. Now what are you doing about that? Tell us what you are doing about that. They are about writing the exams today. What are you doing about that? They are asking you questions today. What are you doing about? So stop it and stop telling lies to the people even in power today. Shamelessly telling them the lies that you were telling them. Today their eyes are open, they are looking at you. You are not doing the thing and you are still telling them that you were complaining of how the thing was conducted. Now what are you doing about it? You can take some of my time to tell us what you are doing about it. You are doing absolutely nothing. So
no,
why?
I want him to answer my question then.
Good
I'll come to you.
Good one. And also, he was saying a lot about taxes, saying that the NPP did nothing about taxes. You know, we won't walk away anything the NDC is going to say today about the NPP. No, you are not the only people who come to consider the burden some taxes put on the people to cancel that. You're not the only people. When we came in 2017, we considered some burden on the people with taxes, and we cancelled some taxes, which is the likes of the special import levy, 1%, the 17.5% VAT levy, VAT on financial services, the domestic airline VAT, the excise duty on petroleum, the 5% VAT on real estate sales. These things all were cancelled to make sure that the burden on the people that are dealing with businesses is shifted. So you can't today come to sit here to say a lot of things that you have cancelled taxes and that no one is cancelling taxes. No, you don't consider burden on Ghanaians more than we the MPP. You don't do that. And I believe that if you are going to be honest, I don't know, maybe for the NDC government, but no one bring tax without a reason.
Right.
Not at all. So now, if you were saying it, even before your question, he was even asking me that question before you have hammered on it again, that we should think of alternatives rather than saying that it should be cancelled, considering that the people are still complaining in the energy sector. Now, were you considering alternatives in 2024 and the rest? This is what we are talking about. This is what. So please,
they're considering what
alternatives
in 2024
and and the other years when we had problems and were bringing taxes and other things, other problems where they were complaining and telling the people. Today, you NDC, you have to sit here and I'm to tell you that people are paying D levy and there is still power outages, and you are telling me that I shouldn't ask for cancellation of the levy, but rather to think of an alternative way to tackle that. Were you thinking of an alternative way to tackle such things in the past years? Were you? So if we won't think about our country today and we are going to think of the words you, the NDC, were telling the people, will the country go forward?
So does that mean that you don't have any other?
It's not that we don't. It's not that we don't, and we will always be the people to think of alternatives to let them know that we can look at ways to make sure we go about these things.
And so what are some of the ways?
Good one. I am still hammering on the fact that they should stop it.
So if they stop it, what should they follow?
I am coming. I said that we can give alternatives. You get that? We are telling them that look, they are the government. And today, we shouldn't be the people to give them alternatives. We are going to do recommendations, but look, they should understand that we are not, it's not a mandate, it's not a compulsory thing on us to give the NDC government an alternative to deal with the energy sector. We know of their inability, their abysmal usual performance in the energy sector. We know it. So look, what I'm always centered on is the words of the NDC. If we are going to consider such things, how will the country go on very well, my sister? No. So look, when we are doing some certain things, we have to think of the country we are living in, not pour in so much light into the eyes of the people, so much dust into the eyes of the people. And today we are here saying a lot of different things.
Okay. So I guess you still haven't provided.
I'm saying that we'll provide the NDC with alternatives.
But
I'm coming. They should look at policy interventions that will cater for these crises, rather than the burden they are putting on the people in the name of taxes, which they were opposing some time ago. So look at such. They should look at such policy interventions. They should look at such policy interventions. All right. The NDC is in power today. They are the ones who are supposed to cater for that. They are the ones who said that there are challenges that goes on, but still a president can still look at ways to go about things in the country. today they are in power. We are expecting that they look at ways to go about this to make sure that the welfare of the people is prioritized. That is this. But today we can't be the core factor. We can't be the core body to tell you guys alternatives in dealing with the nation. Not at all.
It's actually
not
funny.
at all.
Because the minority doesn't have an alternative, but they are saying that they should cancel the D-levy. So if they cancel the D-levy, what should the current government fall on?
The NDC was saying that the MPP should cancel D-levy. The MPP should cancel E-levy. Did they ever present any alternative?
But what was the E-levy? What was the goal of the E-levy?
I'm asking you, has they ever?
No, what was the goal
I'm telling
of the
you
E-levy?
that, look, Ghanaians shouldn't be like, and I'll be surprised you, a media personality, to tell me that you never understood the meanings or the purposes these taxes were coming to serve. And I'm telling you that they were
to understand them when I don't understand.
No, you don't. But I'm saying that at least you should be expected to understand it.
I should be expected to understand it when I don't understand.
If you don't, there's a difference between. Listen to me. There's a difference between
in a way that I can understand.
Listen,
you get it.
Good one. I'm saying that it was that we made it clear to Ghanaians why we brought these taxes, and I'm saying that after saying some of those things, at least we expected that the people should understand that. Yes, I can get you so right telling me that you didn't understand. Yes, there's a possibility that even not only you get that, but I'm saying that what we said, maybe we may consider a fact that you didn't get us right. You get that. But all these taxes we introduced was on a process of bringing back the economy.
Okay.
Was on a process of bringing back the economy. So this was what we wanted Ghanaians to understand, and some of them really impacted, and that is why we saw the economy coming back to its stance. So the NDC should look at alternatives to make sure that the people are dealt with very well without a burden on them. Because when we had taxes to cater for the needs of the people, to cater for the economy, they were opposing it, knowing very well that it's going to cater for the lives of the people. You should understand this. You get that?
Okay.
Thank you so much.
I hear. Mr. Nelson, briefly on this, I'm going to give you 2 minutes to conclude on.
But you gave him almost 1 hour.
No, it was actually his
do you
time
consider the time you used here?
It was
more
actually
than
his
the times I used.
Hello, young man. So it's actually his time to buttress it. So you are just to rebut us. So that's all. That's
well,
it.
if you like, you can give him.
Even if you check it, if he says
please,
I have to, because
proceed.
this should have been the final one. Because I spoke and he did, and he spoke and I did. So this should have been the final one. So he should have started the next topic, and maybe whatever he has to chip in from what I said, that he could do that.
I'm the host here.
Yes, I know, but I'm just talking about.
Well, are you the one to teach the
I'm
host?
I'm not teaching the host.
So allow the host to
understand what I'm saying.
No, why should I understand what?
I'm not telling the host what to do. Get me right. This is how you always get people wrong. This is how you always. You were talking about the.
Kasim.
We mean very, very serious business here, and I will not allow Kasim to walk away with any propaganda. You see,
no one is doing.
You came here and you don't even understand what you are talking about. You are clearly speaking out of what I call sheer ignorance. I asked you to provide a solution so that if you are saying we should cancel the fuel levy, what solution are you giving? You spent 1 whole hour speaking without providing a single solution. You jumped from the topic and you brought in teachers' licensure exam because that was what they told you on your WhatsApp platform to discuss. I have no problem. But you said about the WhatsApp, about the licensure.
So you want to rebut on the licensure?
You see, so why are you going on it again? Thank you very much. So you see yourself.
What did he talk about?
You see yourself.
He didn't speak about anything.
You see yourself start
about the energy sector levy.
I don't know. So you see,
there is nothing to clarify with that part.
You close your ears here. You are telling me that.
I have 2 minutes. The only thing I'm gonna say is that
about
the teachers' licensure
exam. It is funny.
Exam,
you are going back to it.
Exam. We promise our manifesto. I'm clarifying because he said that Graphic Online said this. I am saying that in our manifesto, we did not say we are going to cancel the licensure exams. What we said in our manifesto is that we are going to restructure the exams to be part of the final teachers' examination. And as of today, the national chairman the chairman for the National Teachers Council, Mr. Alovi, indicated or clarified that the current batch of teachers in training college, they are going to write these revised exams. So they will not complete school and sit at home for 1 year and pay money and come and write the licensure. And the previous licensure exam that they were writing did not include any practical aspect. It was just pen, pencil, and paper. Then they write. Shoe and pour, then they write. It included no practical. But what the new reforms that we have brought includes a practical aspect, which adds 30% of whatsoever score they are going to get. So when they are in school, the current batch that are in school, they will write these exams as it is now. And then when they pass, automatically they graduate, and then you become a licensed teacher. This was what we promised, and this is what we delivered.
All right. Thank you so much for the clarification. We'll be looking at the next topic briefly, then we call it a day. So government to develop national emoluments policy to tackle salary disparity. So President John Dramani Mahama has announced plans for this particular policy to address salary disparity in the public sector. This policy will be developed by an independent body and aims to ensure fairness in salaries, harmonize allowances, and promote performance-based pay. So what you do is what you get. What do you make of this policy?
Just last 2 weeks, I think, CLOSAG was on strike, and one of their main concerns had to do with salaries that they were being paid. There's a salary disparity in Ghana currently, and there are people who work in the public sector with similar qualifications, and some are getting higher salaries, some are getting lower salaries, and we feel that's unfair. Because if we all work and we all have the same qualification, there's a need for us to have the same salary structure. So this emolument policy is just to restructure how we go about paying our workers. And the part of it that excites me so much is it also makes provision for, it is also to make provision for the timely payment of public sector workers, so that we will prevent future occurrences of strike, because we do not want some of these things to continue happening. And it all demonstrates how the president is very, very passionate. And this is a reset, so everything that the president is doing, you will notice that it is taking a different direction, and these are things that reflect the reality or will transform the lives of people. So we are trying to create a system that even if the NDC leaves power someday, after maybe 90 years or 100 years, the structures will still be there, so that if you are employed in the public sector, you will still benefit from some of these things. So for this one, it's a big win, and CLOSAG left the meeting very excited. They have even called off the strike. Yes, and that is what governance is about. It's about giving hope to the people, timely intervention, rapid response. And President John Dramani Mahama is on top of issues. So
but do you think that this is fair to the employee?
It's something that employees are advocating for.
For.
I mean, no employee would even be unhappy about this. Unless, of course,
some people, their productivity don't match their salary.
It doesn't match. So those are the people that will be having problem, because now you are going to be given KPI to work with. And your salary is going to be tied to your KPI. I had a privilege to work with a bank, and the bank, they pay according to your KPI, even though they pay according to your ranks as well. But at every 6 months, you do your quarterly appraisals. And when you do the appraisals and your performance doesn't match the salary you are taking, you need to face management and justify why you should be paid this salary despite this performance. And there are so many public agencies that when you go, the offices are empty. People are not attending work. People choose when to come to work. People have turned the work into other business centers, and it all affects the performance of the public sector. And you are paid with taxpayers' money, so it is expected that you deliver. So since presidents cannot come to your office to sit on you and ensure you work, we are going to create a system that whether you are there or not, the system will speak for itself.
Right. They mentioned they are actually organizing a committee to make sure that they spearhead this policy that has been introduced. How sure are we that this committee is not going to be influenced?
No, I don't think
you don't think
I
so?
don't see,
because in every office there's clue.
Yeah, there is kululu in every office, but that's why I said what we are doing is a reset. And our president is a guy, man. He knows all the kululu in the system. Recently, he was somewhere.
Because he's a kululu man.
No, not that he's a kululu
hey,
man.
You have money.
You cannot call the
Please, I beg you.
You cannot call the
No, you said he's a kululu man. Please retract that.
Is it because he's a kululu man?
So indirectly, what are you saying? That he's a kululu. Please retract that.
I do.
Right.
Let's respect our president.
Yeah.
We respect the president.
Your thought on that?
So he knows. I mean, he knows everything that happens in the system. He knows the weakness. So it's just about tying up the system. And I'm not sure the committee can be influenced.
Right.
Good one. So, you see, this issue. I've always said this on countless occasions here, especially that we, the MPP, we do commend whatever that is good, because when it comes to salary issues, it has been a usual complaint in our country, and each and everyone faces that. Even if your government is in power and you are someone who takes salary, you in one way or the other face some of those challenges. So if today there are some reforms that are to cater for that, I mean, we will all hope that it is done successfully. You get that? But what we are trying to say is looking at what sometimes the NDC usually do with the structure of some of their policies or some reforms that they bring on, because I feel like it is important we take note of the structure of anything we are bringing on, because like you were even asking that are we sure some of these committees won't be influenced, especially politically. You see that thing. So it is very important we consider those things, but it is very commendable. Yes, we do have complaints here and there in the salary issues. So if such reforms are brought on to cater for that, I mean, we welcome it, and the success lies in implementing it, and not just the announcement or just telling the people that it is the hope, because this is not the first time we are told that we should have a hope in this government to do some things for us, and today we are not seeing some of those things. You see that thing. So if we are told today that we should have a hope again, then we are praying, and not just having a full, but we are praying and wishing them well that they do it, because it is something that is going to help the country. Now, when you look at this salary issue again, I was worried recently when the GES brought out a message telling the unpaid teachers that they shouldn't be demonstrating during working hours. Now, I wanted to ask some questions, or maybe my NDC brother here will elaborate on that, why they are saying so. If I'm not paid, and I want you to understand that I'm not paid, which time should I do that? We know very well that, look, we have professions, we have the impact people make in our countries, but when we think of teaching, it is a very vital thing. So if these people are always the kind of people we leave out, if these people are the kind of people that have much complaints when it comes to salary, then we have questions to answer. You see that thing. So if today you promise those people that they are not going to cry today, so if today they are crying and they are even trying to come out to let you know, and you are telling them that they shouldn't do that at the appropriate time, then you are stopping them from asking you that please pay us. You are stopping them.
Right.
We do see strikes go on. Which time do strikes go on? Is it not times that they are supposed to teach? I have to let you know at the time of the work, at the time I sweat, that at this time I'm supposed to be paid. So if you don't pay me and I come out to let you know that you are supposed to do that, and you are telling me to stop me, then what are you telling me? I am personally thinking that it is bad. It is bad. Because where in our constitution tells that we can't hold the government accountable, or let the government know that he's supposed to pay it for the sweat we've gone through.
Right.
So I think it is not right at all to tell them that they shouldn't come out during school. If you don't want them to come out, pay them.
Okay.
They should be paid.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us on the Ghana Talks Breakfast Show. But before we leave, we are going to ask for your last words.
It's always a privilege to be here, and I must say that it's a tough decision for the government to implement this one Ghana cedi on fuel products, but it is a phase that we are going through because of where the NPP brought us. We still owe a lot of money in billions of dollars. So if we are able to, there's a need for us to make this payment. That is the only reason why we are presently here. So Ghanaians, we empathize with Ghanaians. We are all feeling the impact of the decision, but it is a tough situation that that is going to be over shortly. And so I will commend Ghanaians to continue supporting the government, and I will also commend the president for his stern leadership and astute ways of doing things. And we are confident and optimistic in the future. Thank you.
So thank you so much for the opportunity to speak on matters today, and I must say that we are wishing the government all the best every day to make sure that our country's economy is brought back to a good stand. That is what we always wish, and we wish that the NPP will sit to analyze and look to see policy interventions that will cater for our energy sector crisis, for the goodwill of the people, for burdens on the people to be taken off, at least maybe for the reason that we've always preached that. And I give greetings to my honorable member of parliament for Tolon constituency, Honorable Habib Idrisu, who was doing amazingly well in the constituency. Because of Honorable Habib Idrisu, Tolon constituency has gotten an ultra modern associate TEF. Because of Honorable Habib Idrisu, Tolong has gotten an educational fund, which we have students studying here in the country with scholarships and also outside the country. Because of Honorable Habib Idrisu, Tolong as a community in the northern region is having a standard radio station that is functioning very well, most streamed and doing so well for the whole north, not even the constituency alone. And that's a physical impact of a member of parliament who does not only sit in parliament to talk and make impact in the country, but also physically on the constituency he's making impact, and we thank him so much for that. And I thank everyone here and our listeners outside, and to my brother here too, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for joining us on the Ghana Talks Breakfast Show. Thank you. We'll be meeting same time tomorrow. Do have a lovely day.